nation's all-time leading passer. But, Mike, these two young men have both had stellar 5-year careers.
They certainly have. And if you start with Michael Faulds and you look at all the numbers he's put up, they're astounding. But he's a great leader for that football team and on the field. And the team seem to rally around him, and they've done so in a 5-year career. He brings that intangible part that you need as a quarterback to lead your team in the tough times through injury to get back up, dust yourself off, and do it all over again. And when we switch gears and we start looking at Danny Brannigan, we're getting to another guy. Leads by example, has put up similar numbers to Faulds. As a matter of fact, they battle all year long, head-to-head, but he's a quiet leader, but leads his team again through example. Sits in that pocket, throws darts down the field.
Now, their battles haven't been reserved to just the record books. In fact, just 4 weeks ago on this very field at Richardson Stadium, they waged a war that was impressive and put on a real show.
Yeah, if you didn't watch a few weeks ago, you missed a heck of a football game. 1:16 left on the clock. Nathan Riva takes in the score to go up by 5. But in Canadian football, we know if there's time on the clock, a lot of things can happen. 13 seconds left. A Brannigan pass to Blaise Morrison put Queens in the lead, and they eventually won 27-26.
And that's why they have home field advantage today. If we get anything like we had in Week 7, you, my friends at home, are in for a treat. Now, it's not often that the nation's leading receiver over the past 2 years and a running back coming off a 279-yard performance take a back seat, but in Scott Valberg and Nathan Riva, that's exactly what we have today. But as the 4th member of our crew, DJ Bennett, tells us, they are ready to steal that spotlight.
Well, Timmy, that is true. They may be in the back seat, but best believe there'll be backseat drivers here. They're going to be driving forces in the proceedings here at Richardson Stadium, and they do it in such a demoralizing fashion. Let's talk about Mr. Valberg first. He's so unassuming. Short gain here, small catch there. Then just like a Law & Order episode, after 45 or 50 minutes, he's got all the answers, finds the case in that zone defense, and is finding seams and running after the catch. Mr. Riva, he gives you a quick death. He's liable to take it to the end zone from anywhere on the field at any time. He is so quick getting through the lines, and it's demoralizing because he doesn't just beat one defender, he beats all of them, leaving them in the dust. Listen, both of these guys are low-key, low-maintenance guys. They're more about the production on the field than being a production off of it. And I know, everybody loves them a quarterback, but best believe me, here today, when we open up the papers tomorrow and we read the Kingston Whig Standard or the London Free Press, we might see one of those two talented playmakers in the papers. Our poster boy here at the Score, Glenn Sheeler, is standing by with Pat Shane.
Thanks, DJ. Pat, that Western offense has one of the best quarterbacks of all time and a running back who's averaging over 225 yards in the playoffs. What did you tell your defense was priority number 1 to slow them down?
Well, I think we can't let them run the ball the way they have. I think the running game really sets things up for them. They make quality runs even on 2nd and long. So we got to slow down the running game and then force him to have to make the great throw under pressure.
Speaking of him, Michael Faulds earlier this week, he gets the nod for MVP in the OUA. A lot of people thought it could have went and should have went to Danny Brannigan, your guy. How much do you think Danny is wanting to use this moment to prove the doubters wrong that he should have been the MVP?
Well, listen, Michael Faulds, great player. He's a great kid. He's deserving of all the accolades he's earned. Danny Brannigan's a great kid. He's had a great year. You know, today we're going to play for the trophy that nobody votes for.
Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck today. Pat Sheehan and the Gaels beat the Western Mustangs by just 1 point back in Week 7. Doesn't matter now. We're talking about playoffs, and Western head coach Greg Marshall has never been beaten in the OUA playoffs. A perfect 19-0. Something's got to give. We're about to find out what. Kickoff is next. You're watching the 102nd Yates Cup in high definition live on The Score.
2 of the original Big Four in Canadian college football. Queens and Western for the oldest trophy in North American football. The 102nd Yates Cup live on The Score in HD. Today's game conditions are brought to you by Centaur Products, your sports contracting specialist and provider of quality sports fields and facilities since 1973. Pat Sheehan in his 10th year looking to bring the Yates Cup back to Queens for the first time in 31 years will take on Greg Marshall, who, as Glenn Sheeler said, is tough to beat at this time. Winner of 6 straight Yates Cups as a head coach.
You know what, Timmy? You get a couple matchups here today. You get what happens on the field and you get what happens on the sidelines between these two great coaches. And I guarantee you there's going to be a couple opportunities today to see these guys at work making key decisions with clock management and playoff and penalty situations as well, pardon me.
Jimmy Allen on the return. He will take it out to the 29-yard line where the Queens offense will get their first opportunity. We talked about Brannigan and Thalberg in the opening, but back in week 7, 3 of the Gaels' 4 touchdowns came from Marty Gordon and wideout Blaze Morrison, who caught the game winner with 13 seconds left. The O-line features 3 OUA All-Stars, including Vince DiCivita, Dan Biederman, and the 6'10", 318-pound junior Matt Donald. Brannigan with his first opportunity will hand it off to Marty Gordon, who will pick up close to 3 yards on first down. Injuries on the front 7 have left the Western Mustangs defense short-handed. Sophomore David Lee and freshman Alexander Robinson have both assumed starting roles in the last couple of weeks. Same can't be said about the secondary. All 5 have started all 10 Western games. Watch for safety Craig Butler, who often arrives with bad intentions. Second down, call it 6 for the Gaels on their opening drive of the football game. Brannigan in the shotgun. 4 receivers to the top of your screen. That's where he's looking. He'll have to pull it down, and he is taken down by John Surla, the Defensive Player of the Year in the OUA.
And these guys are going to feel, each team's going to feel each other out for the first little bit, get an idea of how the game is going to flow on first down. Queens went to a 2 tight end set, going against a defensive line that's been banged up a bit, Tim. We've seen some of their starters go down. They opened it up on second down, but nothing left for Brannigan. He's got to tuck it away and get some, just a little bit of yardage, forcing the third down punt.
Dan Village into punt. His average of 37.1, 10th in the nation. The high spiraling kick that Butler is chasing down at the 46-yard line. He will take it across midfield. Good field position for the Western offense. And taking a closer look at the nation's leading offense, it's clear Mike Fald set the single-season passing mark by spreading the ball around. 6 different Stangs had at least 350 yards receiving, including Zach Bull, who had 5 catches, 131 yards in week 7 against Queens. You don't average 578 yards a game without a good O-line. And even without starting center Andy Rady, the Mustangs still have 3 all-conference performers and a 4th-round pick of the Argos in Zach Polarai. They start from the Queens 50-yard line. Nathan Riva with a nice hold, and he will pick up 7 yards on first down. And despite all the ink spilled on the offense, the Queens defense led the OUA this season thanks to 2-time All-Canadian Osi Ukwoma and a pair garnering a lot of CFL attention in end Shamari Williams and linebacker Chris Smith. 8 seniors littered in this experienced D, including 5th-year senior corner Jimmy Allen, who is not only a 3-time conference All-Star at corner, halfback, and kick returner, but also a 3-time academic All-Canadian. Quite the resume for Jimmy Allen, and early on, Mike Fald's forced to burn a timeout. Looked up at what he saw, didn't like it, and heads to the sidelines, Mike.
You know what, this gives me a great opportunity to talk a bit about the keys to the game. There's only a couple this week. Number 1, Riva runs through it. We'll talk in specifics about Riva as the game goes on. If he can establish that ground game, Western's going to have a great opportunity to win this thing outright. And secondly, pin the tail on the QB. Both defensive lines got to get to those quarterbacks and rough them up a bit because they are the key to every offense.
So Mike Falls heads to the sidelines to talk things over with Greg Marshall. And early starts haven't been Western standard this year. In fact, they have struggled out of the gate. Perhaps that played into Michael Falls burning that early timeout.
Well, you can feel the tension running a bit high. They want to make sure they're not wasting plays. Good call to go to the sidelines and figure things out.
Riva leading back, he will get the carry. Off the right side, gets a big block as he will step out of bounds at the 31-yard line. A gain of 11 and a Western first down.
And we know what Riva can do with his feet. It's well and widely known, but it's the receivers that are working downfield as well. And this time, Zach Bull, number 86 for Western, does a nice job paving the way to help Riva gain that first down yardage.
15 touchdowns, led the nation. And all he's done in the playoffs is average 225 yards a game. Calls the throw for the first time. And he will complete to the outside. Ball popped loose. But they will say it's a complete pass to Nick Trevail.
The ball hits Trevail pretty early, wraps it up. Ball comes out when he hits the ground. Definitely a completed pass.
And a gain of 8 yards to set up 2nd down and 2. Trevail, first team OUA All-Star this year. He's picked it up in the playoffs with 181 yards receiving through 2 games. Pitch again. Like that right side with Riva. This time not much available. Late flag comes out. Pankowicz on the tackle. Can you get some mask there?
I think there's going to be a little bit of a late hit coming in. Not too sure if it's on Pankowicz or Vickers coming in after the fact. But Riva had passed the out-of-bounds marker.
Our referee today is Murray Drinkwalter. And they will discuss it.
Unnecessary roughness. Queens, late hit, half the distance, 1st down.
So you're right, the late hit is called against the Queens defense. It'll be 1st down from the 11.
We'll see who the culprit is here. I think it is Vickers coming in late and laying a little bit of a shoulder, well out of bounds, at least 2 yards. And right in front of that Queens bench. I don't think coach is too happy about that one.
No, and there's some precedence with Vicker in week 7. There was a little war going on between Riva and Vickers. And perhaps a little birdie told the officials to watch Mr. Vickers as they handed to Riva left side, trying to use his speed, but it is strung out well. Chris Smith, the senior linebacker, on the tackle.
I think Jimmy Allen, the perennial all-star, does a great job against Dan Duff. On the bottom of your screen, number 83, Dan Duff, is pushing Allen out of the way, but he strings it along long enough so Chris Smith can come in and wrap up that for that tackle.
A gain of 3 on the play. When you consider Riva has 10.6 speed in the 100 meters, one of the fastest men in the OUA. It's a good job by the Gaels defense. 2nd down and 7. Play action from Falls. Looking to the end zone. Incomplete. He put it in the spot where only Trevail could get it. But unfortunately, his sophomore receiver couldn't come up with it.
You know, that's a well-run route by Nick Trevail. You'll see him come off the line of scrimmage here. He'll break and do the comeback route. He just gets his feet caught underneath them. Remember, Western's not used to playing on grass on a regular basis. If you lay back on your heels, you tend to slide. You got to keep your knees over your toes. Ball was well thrown. Trevail just couldn't come out with the break quick enough.
So Daryl Wheeler will come in to attempt a 15-yard field goal. Liram Harula, who also on the roster because Wheeler's been banged up. The kick is up, came close to being blocked, and he has missed it. From 15 yards away, the frustration showing from Daryl Wheeler as Western gets on the board, but 2 less than they would have wanted. It's a 1-0 game early here in Kingston. Western will get another opportunity. As we have a look, it came through, and I don't think they touched Wheeler.
You know what? They didn't touch Wheeler. They end up hitting Donnie Marshall, but that should not be a call. Dylan Petrin is the one that got in and roughed up Marshall going for the football. He's a live player. That's a very interesting call if that indeed was the roughing call on Queens, and now sets up 1st and goal for Western.
From the 4-yard line. Instead of missing a field goal, they got an opportunity for 6. As they hand it off, come just short. Lecky, the ball carrier, had just 9 rushes in the regular season, battling a hamstring injury.
Yeah, Lecky's the type of guy who can do a little bit of everything. You'll see the direct handoff to Lecky going off the right-hand side. Jaradat leading the way, but Leaper comes up, makes a nice stick, followed up with David Rooney, who really comes from the safety, from the defensive back position, and stops the forward momentum of Lecky.
They bring Riva back into the backfield, and why not? He's scored 30 touchdowns in his last 15 games in the OUA. Trouble with the snap, got it to Riva, and he did not get in. It'll be 3rd down.
You know, we can't talk enough about the strength of the defense for Queens. They've been outstanding all year long, and you're going against the top backs in the whole nation, and they come up big here today. Over the top, you know what it is? It's penetration from the defensive line, getting underneath, submarining the offensive lineman for Western, and he is met in the backfield well short of the touchdown.
And the crowd will rise early. 3rd down, goal to go for the Western Mustangs. Leckie, the ball carrier, touchdown. The junior from Georgetown hits the mute button here at Richardson Stadium.
And the Western Mustangs got a break and took full advantage of it here. Leckie getting the chance to carry the ball again, this time off the left-hand side. Dan Duff leading the way, and Buttrill and the rest of the boys, Matt Norman, pushing down the left-hand side of that defensive line. And really, Leckie just walks into the end zone.
Wheeler will tack on the extra point where it looked like Western only got one. They end up with 7. Leckie the score, and Brannigan will get his chance when we return to the 102nd Yates Cup. Queens and Western for the right to call themselves 2009 Yates Cup champions, and a pair of penalties extending that drive for Western, Mike.
Yeah, a couple penalties, ill-advised penalties. Maybe the second one, not so sure of, but they did have that call go against them to put them down by 7 early in this football game.
Liram Hairulahu will put his foot to the ball, and you see how deep he can get it on the kickoffs. The dangerous Jimmy Allen hurdling men out to the 25-yard line. And Mike, let's have a look at that field goal.
Yeah, we got to keep our eyes on the holder. Donnie Marshall is the backup quarterback, left-hand side, bottom of your screen. He's hit late by Dylan Petrin. He's just going for the football, misses him. And you know what? That is what's going to happen. It's going to draw the penalty, put him in a first down situation, and now Queens has got to go the length of the field to get back.
And Jimmy Allen starts it off by taking it out to the 25-yard line. Big leg from Hairulahu to put it deep in the end zone. Allen's 25-yard return just gets him to the 25. Brannigan on the run, doesn't see anybody open, and takes a pop out of bounds. We have seen that a couple times from Danny Brannigan, and when it happened in week 2 against Mac, he ended up missing a game and a half.
He certainly did, but last week we saw him against Mac do the same thing, put his head down and drive forward. So obviously he's not worried about a head injury again. Mike Spence comes up. That is a direct contact to the head, not on purpose, but you can hear the pop. Oof. And that's a nice football play. 2 guys getting up after it.
I'll tell you what, that's a 5th-year senior looking for his first Yates Cup. On 2nd and 10, he will complete and move the chains for the first time in the Yates Cup. We call Scott Malberg's number.
And I have a feeling we're going to call this name quite often. He finds a soft spot in behind Surla. Surla ends up making the play from his middle linebacker position. But what they do is they're running underneath to draw him up. And then they go over the top, right behind the linebacker, right to Valberg. Surla's got to hustle back to make the play. Connor Elliott and Mike Spence there as well.
As the rain begins to fall here at Richardson Stadium, the Gaels have a first down. Working from their own 43, it'll go through the hands of Surya, who is open near midfield.
Talk about it at length. If you haven't seen Danny Brannigan throw a football before, his pocket presence is unlike anybody you've probably had the chance to observe. He just sits in that pocket. You see his numbers right there, what he's able to do by having that protection around him and that strong arm, just kind of happy feet, just standing still. Strong arms, you know, a very well thrown football over the top of Connor Elliott.
An All-Canadian last year was Danny Brannigan. Finished 97 yards back of Falls for the all-time lead. Looking deep, looking for Shane. Got him on the run. 10-5, touchdown Gaels. To ignite the crowd here at Richardson Stadium.
You know, and Coach Pat Sheehan said this about his son. He can run that seam route pretty well. This time he runs right past Aaron Hanser. Ball gets thrown up in the air perfectly Hanser takes a stab at it, misses it, and the rest of it, Sheahan right into the end zone for an absolutely huge play. Look at the pocket presence on Danny Brannigan just sitting back there, and that ball delivered perfectly. And taken the rest of the way for 6 by Sheahan.
Dan Village to tie this ball game up. And we are all even at 7. We expected a heavyweight bout, and we've seen the first 2 haymakers landed here in Kingston. How's that for a start?
That's how you start, and that's how you come back from adversity. You get a team that's ranked number 4th in the country. They're ranked that way for a reason. 2 penalties go against them. They get points scored on the board, and then Danny Brannigan, the leader behind the pocket, throws a beautiful strike to Sheahan. He takes it the rest of the way. We are going to have a slugfest, Timmy. It's going to be an awesome football game today.
Something to consider, especially on the western side of things. Not as much experience on Queens, so we'll have to see, especially on the defensive side of the football, how they respond after a big play from Brannigan and Sheahan. Hanser's going to get a chance to make up for it on the bounce. And he will take it out to the 35-yard line and beyond. As Michael Falls comes right back out. And I don't think we'll ever see this again. The top 2 passers in the history of the CIS with the opportunity, Mike, to go toe-to-toe.
No, I don't think we're going to see it in our lifetimes, Timmy. I mean, you have 2 of the best, like you mentioned, and they have done it with class over the last 5 years. It's unfortunate one guy is the only one allowed to go on to the next game, but we have a lot of time to figure that one out.
Falls back-to-back Yates Cup MVP awards. Looking to add to the totals. Throwing on first down, and he will complete Travail, his favorite receiver, at the 53-yard line, and that's good for a gain of 17.
The one thing about Michael Falls is he comes back, and he comes back with a vengeance. He has that ability to be able to go deep when he has to. This is a nice throw and strike to Travail, who's getting a lot of looks today early.
2 catches now for 25 yards. The latest of which moves the chains and allows Riva to get the carry, but he is swallowed up. Shamari Williams, the senior from Brampton, will take him down. No gain on the play.
And this is the matchup that I'm looking at, that defensive line against the running game of Western, and quite frankly, the running game of Nathan Riva. Shamari Williams comes in from a big school out in the United States in Houston. Most guys would sit back and rest on their laurels. Not a guy like Williams, who is hustling every play and proud to be playing in this Yates Cup.
Played 3 years at Houston before transferring back. Falls with time. Vickers there on the coverage to knock it away from Zach Bull. So it'll be 3rd down for this Western offense.
And that's very, very good timing by Vickers on the defensive side of the ball, attacking the ball as it's in the air against Zach Bull, the receiver, who got his first chance and first look at the football today, but Vickers right there to break it up.
Brings Dale Wheeler back into punt. Jimmy Allen from his own 13. He's taken 4 kicks back for touchdowns this year, but he won't do it here as John Surla, the starting middle linebacker, is down there to make the tackle.
So you gotta love the intensity of your starting middle backer running down on special teams when he doesn't have to and making plays. Big players want to be on the field at all times, doesn't matter how tired they get. Surla does a good job wrapping up there and taking him to the ground.
Danny Brannigan back under center And the young man in his 5 years has put up some big numbers. That 10,714, obviously second all time. He will hand it off to Martin Gordon. Big hole across the 35-yard line. A gain of 11 and a first down for Queens.
Again, Queens lines up in the two tight end set, really attacking that. A bit of a depleted defensive line and takes it right up the gut. Very good blocking up front by DeSavita and the crew, opening up that hole. And Gordon had a whale of a game last week against Mack. And that running game on both sides is going to be something to be messed with.
Really turning a truck through that hole. Great job by our boys in the truck. You see it. Ioannidis on the reception. He'll pick up 5 on first down. And Chris Ioannidis can be a dangerous target for this Gaels offense.
You know, he really can. The play action here is set up by the fact that Gordon got the ball in the last play. And you'll see Ioannidis come from that tight end set and kind of leak out. And often, if you're playing tight end, you're matched up against linebackers. I'll take the tight end in that matchup any day of the week, just based on athletic ability. I take nothing away from the defenders, but if you got an athletic tight end at any level, they match up pretty well.
I think Coach Sheehan will as well. He had 11 receptions, 125 yards back in week 7 against Western. Another quick hitter, this time sailing out of bounds. He's looking for Blaze Morrison.
That time there, they had a bit of a timing route to the outside, but really not a lot of opportunity to drop that one into Morrison. And a nice defensive play by the Western defense, who had coverage over top and down below as Mike Spence comes into the flats to try and get a hand on that ball.
Spence, one of 3 first-year starters in the secondary for the Mustangs. And after allowing 1 first down on this possession, they forced Dan Village out. Low snap. He's able to handle it, but not a great kick. It will take a Gaels bounce before Butler brings it straight up the gut. He is bent backwards at the 50-yard line. The 102nd Yates Cup knotted at 7 late in the first quarter. The University of Western Ontario in search of their record 29th Yates Cup. Here at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, live coast to coast in the Score television network. Tied at 7. 3:40 left in the first quarter. Western from their own 51, run play action on 1st and 10, and Riva out of the backfield, always a dangerous receiver, flagged down, and Riva is as well at the 35-yard line. A gain of 24 for now.
Yeah, he's very dangerous, not only taking the ball in the backfield, but doing the play action and catching it downfield. Unfortunately, this one's coming back a bit, but he is seriously a double threat, and you add a triple threat when he gets back and starts returning kicks as well.
After first down yardage gained, holding Western, first down.
Let's go down to the trenches and the 4th member of our crew, DJ Bennett.
No, Greg Marshall trusts his running back. During that last timeout, Riva saw something, said, listen, they're calling out keys to run. Let's go play action. And he got his wish. A lot of trust between Marshall, a former running back, and his star tailback.
After yards gained, will place the ball at the 50 of Queens. Well, there is the man you mentioned. Riva again, 6-yard gain. And he has really stepped it up in the playoffs. Rushed for 171 yards and a score in the quarterfinals against Guelph. And then last week, rushed it, an OUA record, 42 times for 279 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You know, and let's look at the numbers. 17 games, 31 touchdowns. The leader of all time is Jesse Lumsden at 47. 46 of his were on the ground. Riva does it on the ground, in the air, and he's only played 17 games.
He'll get the carry again. They are pretty ridiculous numbers as he is dragged down by Frank Pankowicz after a gain of 3. It was 2nd and 4, so it'll be 3rd and short. But when Greg Marshall's involved, I don't think you'll see Michael Falls running off the field.
No, they're going to go for it on 3rd down, and he has a habit of doing it. And really, he likes to roll the dice because most of the time he's correct. And if he's not, enters that defense there that more often than not shuts down the opposing offense.
The crowd here doesn't like the spot of the football. 3rd and inches, and they will rise. Falls with the bum knee, pushing it forward across the 30-yard line. Excuse me, the 40-yard line, which would be the first down, and he has it. Mike Falls, for the past 4 weeks, has been basically playing on one leg, but he runs the sneak here to get the first down.
You know, whenever you want to bring a different quarterback in to do that QB sneak, you're talking about exchange issues with the center. This time here, he follows Zach Polari on the right-hand side and kind of takes his patient time, gets the first down. Now he can regroup. You see Scott Jans coming into the football game. We haven't seen in quite a while get on the field.
And they had put him at safety. Played receiver last year. Falls has him as part of the route. Play action, looking back. Reba, and he drops it. Hit hard. They'll say it's an incomplete pass. Queens wants possession. Chris Smith laying the lumber.
You know what, Tim? If you want to know what these guys do day in and day out all week, they watch film, they look at their opponent, and they go and they try and find reads that can help them make plays. This is one of them. The Cuomo, first of all, does an amazing job forcing the ball, and that big play by Smith, who reads it out from the back end, comes up and makes a play, knocks the ball loose.
Good call by the officials. Never had it. Second down and 10. Falls. Plenty of time going over the middle. Haggerty somehow hangs on to the football right in the middle of that Queens defense. It's a gain of 18.
You won't see many better catches in this, and trusting quarterbacks to throw the football in amongst two receivers. Haggerty with an amazing catch, climbing the ladder. Watch him catch it above the defenders with his hands. And Mike Falls threads the knee. That was a tight throwing window, and he put it right on the money.
David Rooney was on the coverage, two-time OUA All-Star, and Laporte delivered the blow. Or Lablo, as it were. Reva, the ball carrier, he'll take it down to the 16-yard line. Gain of 6 on first down. And the luxury when you have a back as good as Reva, second and manageable.
Definitely, pretty much every time he touches the football, he makes positive yards, and now puts him into second and short, makes Laporte miss on a beautiful little juke move after the play.
He's 5'10", 185, but a powerful back, despite the stature. This time he is met in the backfield. The freshman, Frank Bankowicz, out of Thunder Bay, drops him for a loss of 2.
And this is what I'm talking about coaching. The coaches sit in those meetings and tell guys, you got to watch reads. There's got to be telltale signs of what plays are coming next. Pankowicz reads that like a book, comes up and makes a big play.
And that will do it for the first quarter of play here in Kingston. The 102nd Yates Cup has seen it all early. A pair of touchdowns. Leaves us not at 7. Great crowd on hand to see an 80-year-old rivalry renewed in Kingston as Western and Queens meet for the right to call themselves the Yates Cup champions. Greg Marshall on third down to start the second quarter sends Darryl Wheeler out to attempt a 28-yard field goal. Wheeler kind of missed from 15 earlier today, but it was called on unnecessary roughness, and Western ended up putting it in the end zone. The kick is up, and it is good. So the Western Mustangs open up the second quarter with the 3 to make it a 10-7 football game.
Yeah, we take a look now at the first quarter stats, and it was an even game on the field, but Western certainly leads the battle as far as first downs go and time of possession. Puts them up 10-7, still a tight football game. As we move forward, Kingston rebounding with that huge play to Sheehan to get back on the board.
So Greg Marshall, who also coordinates the offense here at Western, looks over the script as Danny Brannigan. And the Gaels choose to scrimmage from the 35, running play action on first down. He's being chased down and shoved by Robinson. That'll be a late hit as the ball falls incomplete. You could see Robinson's eyes light up as he chased the quarterback, perhaps a little too much.
Yeah, and I don't know where that flag came from, deep into the secondary. I'm trying to get an idea of what that potential call may be.
There's 2 flags out there. One's roughing the passer.
For sure, that's the one call back at the end of the play. And it looks like both umpire and referee called the same thing from 2 different positions, but you want to get to a Danny Brannigan when he gets out of the pocket, because he is the key to that Queens offense, and you just can't afford to take those penalties while you're doing it.
Roughing the passer, Western, 25 yards, first down.
They'll get both of them added onto each other, Mike.
Yeah, so there was illegal contact in the backfield, and it was Simianic who got called on at number 37 for Western, way down the field, and really not a call, not a penalty that's called unless the ball gets in the air, and he was a bit far away from it, but nonetheless, 25 yards is a big one.
So after Western catches a couple of breaks to punch in their first score of the game, Queens 25 yards and penalties gives it to them at the Western 50-yard line. Marty Gordon will pick up 3 on first down. Connor Elliott on the tackle.
I like the way Connor Elliott has played this season. He's really been moved into that linebacker position. He's often used off the edge to go after the quarterback. This time he stops the run. Makes a nice play on Gordon to wrap him up.
Western's had some pretty good players at that spot in the last little while. John Hood, and before that, Nick Kordick, who ended up with the Tiger Cats. 2nd and 7. Brannigan in the shotgun. 5 receivers at his disposal. Has time, delivers right through the hands of Devin Shane.
It was a nice strong pass by Brannigan. He's got the strong arm right through Shane's hands, but who's around the football at the end of the play? None other than Connor Elliott, who came back from that linebacker position. You'll see number 24 just kind of flash in front of him. Sometimes that's enough to disturb a receiver. I think Shane knows he should have caught that football.
At the line of scrimmage, the Western 48-yard line, Dan Village will punt. Junior out of Abbotsford, British Columbia. High spiraling kick, looking at Coffin, corner of the Stags. Butler at the 5, 10, 15. Knocked out of bounds at the 17-yard line. So after a 42-yard kick, Butler with a 12-yard return. Falls and Brannigan 1-2 in the nation in passing yards per game. Stangs pivot, averaging 379 yards per game, while the Gaels quarterback averaged 368.6 yards per game.
Keep an eye on Deshaun Thomas in the football game with Riva, and Thomas is another guy they like to go to out of the backfield on pass patterns as well.
Both good receivers, but they will hand it off on first down to Riva. May have picked up 2.
And I think anybody that's watched Western play this year, you know Mike Folds is going deep at some point during this football game. But because it's such a big game, they'll stick to the ground game for the time being, trying to feel each other out. This time Riva following his blockers. But you take a look at Pankowicz and the boys making plays. That defensive line is aggressive. Aquoma getting to the backfield. Shamari Williams in the backfield, causing a lot of disruption along that offensive line of Western.
2nd down and 8. Falls with plenty of time in the clock. Internal clock goes off. Flag comes out, and it's it's dropped. Plenty of flags all over the field. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flags. One in the backfield, I think, is holding, and then several in the defensive backfield.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see is definitely holding on the Western O-line, and then another flag against Zach Bull for coming back and disrupting the ball in the air. Try and sort it out right now and get the calls.
And Murray's just waiting for his guys that saw it to come over and report to him.
These are two potential big plays. You get the holding call there, and both against Western. So exactly what was mentioned. They're going to get the holding call against the old lineman. Then you're going to get Zach Bull against Sultana. I'm pretty sure, and you're seeing Coach Sheehan decline it to force a third down situation. They could possibly back them right up to the goal line, second and long.
But this offense is dangerous. I mean, they average 578 yards per game.
Offense declined, pass interference, offense declined, third down.
Rarely will you see two penalties decline, but if there's an offense to do it against, it's this one.
Yeah, watch your right-hand side. It's going to be right there on Polari that gets the holding call, and then Zach Bull coming back. He makes a nice play. Sultana has what looks like a sure interception, but it's knocked away at the end.
So it ends up being a good play just to save Western a couple of yards. How many, we will find out as Wheeler comes in to punt. From his own 10, Jimmy Allen will step up to the 48-yard line to take it in. And the Gaels will work for the short field from the 43 when we return to the 102nd Yates Cup. Welcome back to Richardson Stadium in Kingston. Tim McAuliffe alongside Mike Moriali, Glenn Sheeler along the sidelines, DJ Bennett in the trenches, and he might have to climb into those trenches as the rain begins to fall here in Kingston. And it wouldn't be Canadian football playoffs without a little weather to play a factor, Michael.
Yeah, it definitely is. And watch the footwear choice here. The home team always has the advantage on natural grass.
Queens down 10-7 with great field position, and they will improve it. Inside the 25, down to the 21 is Devin Sheehan. Hauls it in again.
I think it's actually Blaze Morrison that comes up with the catch, Tim, and it's because of Devin Sheehan, who runs the seam route, taking the focus off of Morrison, who comes underneath. Sheehan actually takes two guys in Butler and Simianic. Morrison comes up with the catch.
Blaze, of course, caught the game winner back in week 7. Apparently taking off the tinted shield here today with overcast skies in Kingston. And on 1st and 10, Brannigan's looking to the end zone, wide open, touchdown Queens! Chris Ioannidis! Second big play for Queens, second touchdown for the Gaels.
And we talked about Ioannidis and how he lines up at the line of scrimmage and he gets lost. On the right-hand side of your screen, pardon me, he runs right by John Surla, who doesn't see him, makes a beautiful catch downfield. That's the bonus you have when you have an athletic tight end that gets lost in the shuffle and wide open downfield.
A 22-yard touchdown has given the 4th-ranked Gaels a 14-10 lead.
Big plays by the Gaels today and really taking advantage of the weapons they have on offense. As we see Brannigan in the pocket looking right downfield, knows he has a man, and I can tell you one thing, from my vantage point, Ioannidis was open the whole way, not just at the end.
So Sheehan decides to decline 2 penalties. They get the ball back, and quicker than you can say Golden Gaels, they're in the end zone.
And let's talk a bit about why this passing game is working. They hit Devin Sheehan on a long ball early in the first quarter to put 7 points on the board. That opens up the defense. It makes them respect the deep ball. When it does that, guys like Blaze Morrison can come underneath wide open. Ioannidis gets lost in the shuffle because you have guys running down the middle of the field, and it takes their eyes off of the guy that's going to eventually catch the football, and it's working very, very well today.
Village to kick off as the Gaels take their first lead of the football game. From his own 4, Aaron Hanser dances across the 25, taken down at the 27-yard line. great big playability for the Gaels. You look at Danny Brannigan over his career, despite having 100 less completions than Michael Faulds, he is just 97 yards back on the all-time list. And if you look at Connell, I mean, that's well over 140 completions back, but he's up there ahead of Connell on the all-time passing list.
It certainly is, and the poise he shows in that pocket, sitting back there. And on the flip side, Michael Faulds does the same. A little more aggressive when it comes to moving the football down the field. And I think you might have to turn it up a notch right here.
They've been patient. They've tried to stay patient with this running game. Riva, as we say it, dropped for a loss by TJ Leeper, the middle linebacker.
I can't stress enough about these guys getting in the playbook, watching film and reading plays. They don't just get lucky. TJ Leeper on that play there does an amazing job going by Buttrell to get into the backfield and wrap up Riva for a loss. The way you stop Riva is to get him early. Don't let him get his head of steam downfield and let his feet do the work.
The London native, his mother a professor at Western, TJ Leeper, has one fan at least at UWO. Falls, completes over the middle. Good for a gain of 15 and a first down. Travail on the reception.
You know, Nick Travail's the favorite target so far. Sultana comes up to make the tackle. Queens did a nice job underneath, taking away the short routes, but they left Travail coming open. Both teams doing a very similar job of game planning. Run some unders, pull the backers down, run it over behind them with the receiver. That time Travail comes up with a big play.
His third catch of the football game gives Western first down. They go to the outside and complete for a quick gain of 7 yards. Matt Vickers there to make the stop. And you can see the eyes right there, Mike Falls.
Took the words out of my mouth. Leeper almost gets his hand on the ball to knock it away. Again, Travail comes up with a catch. Stay tuned for a little hitch and go on the outside there. 4 for 51 already for Travail's having himself a nice game. He's been kind of quiet.
That's the communication, though, between quarterback and receiver. That little look, enough to tell him to cut off his route. Riva, first down and more, as he takes it across the 50 and down to the Queens' 47-yard line.
You know, this really is an example of what I mentioned before. If you cannot touch Nathan Riva in the backfield, you're in for a bit of trouble because your DBs are making plays downfield. That time Jimmy Allen's got to come over and make a play. You know he's already gained a 15 at that point.
12 more yards for Nathan Riva to be exact. That's his total climbs. Already 13 carries for Nathan Riva. Play action from Falls. Throws to the flats and completes. Another 12 for the Western Mustangs as Zach Bull is there to make the catch.
Zach Bull comes in, runs a comeback route to the outside. Rooney is there. He just doesn't get, he's almost falling when the ball contacts Bull and can't get his arm in front. Zach Bull's been a nice find, battles through adversity. We've talked about it every time we see him play. But he really has been a clutch guy on the outside and somebody that Falls leans on.
Last year he tore his ACL in the first series against Laval in the Vanier Cup. Nothing again for Riva as he is dropped in the backfield. Chris Smith this time. It's a loss of 5 yards.
You know, working like clockwork. That defensive coordinator on Queens is working overtime. Pat Tracy's putting his guys in positions. He's shooting gaps with his linebackers. That time Smith comes up, gets them in the backfield. There's no way if you get to Nathan Riva in the backfield that any of your DBs are going to be making the tackle 15 yards down the field. He's going to be pat down for a loss.
DJ Bennett in the trenches.
He was saving a lot of defensive fronts for this very opportunity, and Western seeing a lot of fronts for the first time tonight, causing trouble.
Falls over the middle, and he will complete to Pasick. Getting all of it back and more. They'll have a first down at the 26-yard line on a gain of 16.
That's what Coach Marshall and that team does very well, is they don't sit back and wallow about the play that happened before. They go out and make plays. Falls throws a strike downfield. Jimmy Allen all over Passage, who comes up with a nice catch in front of the perennial All-Star.
So Pasick, who led the team in receiving this season, makes his 6th reception in the playoffs and gives Western the first down at the Queens 25. Riva looking for something. Bounces off Shamari Williams, but Jimmy Allen with the support. And Riva may have gotten one.
May have gotten one, but it's the strength of Shamari Williams coming from his end position on the left-hand side of your screen. Sheds the block of Buttrill, chases him down, and there's the speedster Allen. 2 number 16s going at it. This time the Gaels win on that play.
Shamari Williams is going to be drafted next year in the CFL. I can't comprehend how nobody will give Jimmy Allen a shot. He's in his 5th year, and he is a ball player. 2nd and 9, throwback screen. Riva's got big fellas in front of him. And a pass to the end zone. Lowers his shoulder inside the 10-yard line. Vickers, the last man. But it'll be first down, goal to go for the Stangs.
Perfect play calling on offense. The only way to stop a hard-charging defensive line and linebackers is to run a screen. They do it to perfection here, and Riva puts his head down against Vickers at the end of the play to let him know right here, hello, son, I'm ready to play this game today.
Those are the two who battled in week 7. A lot of chirping between the two. But right here in the Yates Cup final, Western has a first down, goal to go. Riva to the 1-yard line.
That looked mighty close, Tim, to crossing that plane. They're going to call it on the 1.
How about the response from Western after the 22-yard touchdown pass to Ioannidis?
Well, first of all, we'll take a look at this run by Riva. The way he spun, it actually, from that angle, it's tough to tell, but the ball doesn't cross the plane. Sets them up for 1, but you know, you're right, Tim. The way they respond is huge. It's indicative of how the team is coached, how they're prepared. We saw Queens do the same thing earlier on and bounce back, and now Western's doing back. We're going to have a little tit for tat the whole day.
Leckie, the ball carrier, and he is in. His 2nd touchdown of the game, and Western responds and takes the lead back from Queens.
And just like that, they march all the way down the field. Leckie's got a chance to tug the ball a few times today, and it's done real well. Left-hand side of your screen, Dan Duff, Buttrill, Norman really paved the way into the end zone for Leckie. Turns out to be another stand-up touchdown.
Didn't have a touchdown in the regular season. John Leckie now has 2, the latest of which gives the Western Mustangs a 17-14 lead here in the Yates Cup. Western lands a haymaker of their own as they go 82 yards in 11 plays to retake the lead with 6:21 left in the first half. 17-14. We expected an offensive game, and that's exactly what we got thus far.
And we've seen flashes of brilliance on defense on both sides as well, so very indicative of the well-coached teams on either side.
Jimmy Allen from the 15. He'll take it out to the 30-yard line before being swarmed under by several Western Mustangs. John Leckie didn't have a touchdown in the regular season. He's now got 2, and we have more from DJ Bennett.
Well, Tim, a lot of people forget last year when these two teams played in the regular season, Leckie was the starter, had a mixed performance, and then they found the diamond in the rough, Riva, and it's been history since. But Leckie had a hamstring injury most of the year, and now he's back healthy. He wanted redemption against Queens when he lost his starting spot. Expect to see him a lot in short yardage because they like him because he gets slim and gets in the goal line, and Western struggled in short yardage against Laurier last week.
Boy, Greg Marshall has some real backs here. We haven't even talked about Ken Answer, the very talented freshman as Marty Gordon spins for 4 yards on first down. Ben Roberts, who began the season last year as a starter before getting hurt in week 1, and then Riva happened.
Yeah, and take a look here at Matthew O'Donnell, all 6'10" of them here. He's paving the way for Gordon up the field. But you're right. You look at all those running backs, Tim, and they are flush with them. Riva's the best of the best, but You go to number 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they're right up there as well.
Brannigan was trying to go to his left, back to his right, and it'll fall incomplete. Trying to get it to Marty Gordon. So a quick 2 and out for Queens after Western takes a 17-14 lead. Well, Brannigan's numbers are pretty good.
Yeah, Brannigan's done a good job today in that offense as well. You keep track of these 2 and outs because this is where teams try and take advantage of these situations. There's no change in field position on offense. It really comes down to the punting situation and the return game.
Village awaits the snap at his own 22-yard line. Good kick. Butler has to go over his shoulder, loses it, and will just fall on it at the 23-yard line. A 46-yard punt, no return, as Western takes over. Greg Marshall looking for his 7th straight Yates Cup title as a head coach. In fact, the last time that the Queens Golden Gaels made it to the Yates Cup final, they lost to Greg Marshall back in 2002 when he was at McMaster. As a head coach, impressive. He's won 18 straight OUA playoff games. Here it's tipped and picked. Pankowicz, the freshman, with a big play for the Queens defense.
Tim, this is once bitten, twice shy. They're setting up a screenplay again. Pankowicz comes in, but bails at the last second, tips the ball up in the air, catches it himself for a huge play. You see him bite early on the screen, but backpedals, and what an amazing athletic play from a youngster on a huge game.
Sheeler keeps telling us those boys from Thunder Bay are tough. And Pankowicz, a freshman, with a big play. Brannigan looking to take advantage to the end zone. Touchdown, Queens! Devin Sheehan, his second, a flag down, but I think that it came after the touchdown, Mike.
It's going to be on Butler. Late hit after the catch in the end zone. Sheehan's going to run a little bit of a quick post right there. The ball's thrown to him perfectly, splitting the defensive backs. Flag after the play. We're talking about Sheehan and how he runs his seam routes. That's exactly what he did. Has the big body, puts it between him and the defender. Nice play. And they are picking apart the defensive backfield of Western.
So they'll apply the penalty to the kickoff. Third lead change of the ball game already. And Devin Sheehan's second touchdown reception.
Unnecessary roughness, Western, objectionable conduct, Queens, both penalties be applied on the kickoff. Touchdown is good.
So Sheehan could have had an opportunity, but they get a flag back. These two are just going toe-to-toe. 21-17 now, if Dan Village can knock this through.
Yeah, Greg Marshall was shaking his head saying, what is going on? How is this guy getting so wide open down the field as Village lines up for the point after? And this is really going to open up the rest of the football game. Running those seams, you see Devin Sheehan on the sidelines right now, having a whale of a game already.
4:29 left in the first quarter. Queens takes a 21-17 lead. Time now for our Pizza Fan Cam, brought to you by Pizza, the OUA official pizza. Order your favorite pizza before, during, or after the game. Pizza, always hot, always fresh, and a great crowd on hand here as the Big Four rivalry renewed. Back in the day, it was always U of T, McGill, Western, and Queens. And here in Kingston, they love nothing better than beating one of those Big Four in a big game.
Yeah, they got history behind them, and this city's really rallied behind this football team. Nice full house today under perfect conditions. A little bit of rain at some point. It's cleared up now. Great playoff football and great playoff football weather.
and a great atmosphere. Our kids, our game. It's great to see people out to support it. So Danny Brannigan's third touchdown pass of the game makes it 21-17. Village with the kickoff. Hanser from his own goal line. Nice return past the 25. Stood up at the 30. Chris Smith with the bad boy walk away.
You know what? Chris Smith has every right to give the old bad boy look away because he didn't even move his feet. He stood there and literally Hanser ran into him. He drops his shoulder a bit, puts him on his behind. At the end of this play, look to the right-hand side of your screen. Yellow. Goodbye.
That'll stop you in a hurry. Did you see Hanser grasping for breath? It's a good return, though. 31 yards, and Western gets their shot. So Michael Falls, the OUA MVP, and when you look at it, probably the favorite to win the Het Krike. Whoever won the MVP in the OUA was probably the favorite to win the Het Krike. Brannigan with 3 touchdown passes, and Falls looking for one here, going deep for Travail, gets hung up, flag comes out at the Queens 45. Henry Chu, the field judge, throws it, and that ball got hung up.
This is a touchy flag. Travail stops running. Probably could have continued to run. The ball did get hung up a bit. Vickers basically runs into him.
Defensive pass interference. Queens, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So Vickers is going to get called on pass interference. But at the end of the play, right-hand side of your screen, watch Travail stop his feet. By that time, Vickers has no choice to run into him. It's the extension of the arms that he gets called on right there. Subtle, but enough to draw the flag.
Falls completes near midfield. Travail on the reception once again. And Nick Travail, who caught just 7 passes through 2 playoff games, picks up his 5th.
And I want to get back to the play before as we see Travail make a nice catch here, a little comeback sit route, little curl route to the outside. Travail was open by about 5 yards on Vickers, and it's the first time we've really seen Falls go over the top. The ball just hung up a bit on him.
Boy, there has been nothing there for Riva. It was 2nd down and 2. Not sure he picked up the first down.
You want my player of the game already? Pankiewicz has come to play as a rookie. Keep an eye on number 48, shooting the gap right in the backfield, wrapping up Riva. Not only that, pulling him back. He has come to play. He is a football player.
And they are bottling up Riva. Already 17 carries for just 46 yards. And Pankiewicz, when you talk about this defensive line too, there are a lot of big names. Shamari Williams, Osi Ukwoma, who was drafted in the CFL, 2-time All-Canadian, but Pankiewicz is holding his own as a freshman, along with John Miniacci, another freshman at DT. 3rd and 1. Western will go for it at midfield. They pitch it. Riva looking for the edge. And I'm not sure he got it. Shamari Williams jagged him down. And Queens is convinced they've turned it over on downs. In fact, they have.
This is all Shamari Williams. This shows his athletic ability. He chases plays down from all over the place.
A big play at the 3-minute warning here in the 102nd edition of the Yates Cup. Queens will get it back, leading by 4.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, representing the Pioneer Petroleum Performance Team, in your 102nd Yates Cup T-shirts.
I'm guessing that. Okay, I'm guessing that's him. Let's let it run. He might be here. Go for it.
Make some noise for the T-shirt. And ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah. Okay. He's the other guy. Okay. Yeah. Start on the freeze. So he's going against Buttrill. It will be right. Do you guys like blue, or do you rather have yellow? Yellow? Okay, so it'll be here, here, Okay. Yellow. Gotcha.
Per game.
And he's going against Buttrell.
So playoff.
Buttrell and Norman comes over to chip him. Okay. Yep. Williams. So guys, just off the top, give me a second to clear it, and once I clear it, you can run it. The 45, I think.
Sorry? The OUA's #1 defense coming up big at the 3-minute warning, Mike.
And if you want to see why a guy like Shamari Williams is going to play at the next level, this is why. Watch him fight through two blockers, Buttrell and Norman. Try to come down on him, cuts underneath both, makes a tackle at the end of the play, and he deserves to celebrate. That's how you have instincts to play this game.
You see how fast he is at 6'2", 250 pounds. Began his career, as Mike mentioned, at the University of Houston. Got his degree in 3 years. They changed coaches and said, why don't I go back to Queens, play some Canadian football? Brannigan, after the turnover on downs, throwing, and it's dropped. Surya at the 31-yard line. Really should have had it.
No, he definitely should have had it, and that was the way Brannigan looked throughout his whole reads there, starting on the right-hand side of the line of scrimmage. This time has to fight back, going back to Surya, throws a nice strike, and he's wide open. Got to make that catch.
Surya has yet to catch a ball in the postseason. Had 24 catches in the regular season, including 5 for 58 yards in Week 7 against Western. 2nd and 10. Brannigan. Screen pass complete. Gordon gets a block, but Foster comes up from his quarterback spot to drop him after a gain of 7 and bring up 3rd down.
You know, this is what happens quite a bit. Gordon comes back to block, but he misses the guy that actually comes up to make the play. He leaves Foster to come get a big chip block. Foster comes up, makes a tackle.
Don't you receivers salivate with that?
Oh, yeah. Better. I've left quite a few guys come back for big blocks. There's no doubt about that.
I don't see a punter on the field on 3rd and 3. Sheehan rolling the dice on 3rd and 3 from the 47. They run it with Gordon and have it. Forget 3, he picked up 6 and a Queens first down.
You know what? This is confidence in your own line, confidence in your receivers downfield blocking. They put 4 receivers to the bottom of the screen, and they all did a nice job creating enough room that Gordon could come and get the first down.
Got an injured Western Mustang off field as Marty Gordon adds to his totals. And Gordon, an interesting story as well. Him and Jimmy Terrian fighting for that starting job after the departure of Mike Giffen. He made his first start in Week 6, picked up 180 yards and a touchdown. He hasn't relinquished that role since. This is Connor Elliott.
There you go.
Great minds think alike, Mike. Either that or fools seldom differ.
That's correct.
One of the two.
The latter. That's going to be a big injury for the next couple plays. He looks like he's under his own steam. Might be an upper body injury, but Connor Elliott has been the guy who kind of wreaks havoc. Looks like he's holding his right shoulder. Sean Blake comes in to replace him.
Another freshman into the defense for Greg Marshall. Connor Elliott, OUA second-team All-Star, would be a big loss, to say the least. After the 3rd down conversion, Queens 1st and 10 from the 41. over the middle. Ioannidis pops up and intercepted. Spence grabs a hold of it. Butler popped it loose. And that young Western defense comes up with a big play of their own.
And here it is again, that same play. Ioannidis this time lines up as the right-hand slot back to the inside, runs a quick little seam route, but Craig Butler, being the football player he is, makes a play on the ball, off his knee, in the air, and a big INT for Western, who was looking for a break, as Mike Spence comes up with the big football play. Caught initially, knocked away off the right knee, right to Spence, and that's good heads-up play.
What a time for his first interception in the CIS. Turn it over at the 9-yard line. So back we come with Faulds and Riva. Motion Dan Duff left side, pitch it right side to Riva. Still nothing there for Nathan Riva.
And you got to be kidding me. Greg Marshall right now is ripping his hair out on the sidelines. That offensive line cannot handle the defensive line of Queens, and Shamari Williams, Ukwoma, everybody taking their turns, making plays there.
John Miniacci.
That time it's big John Miniacci coming in, and
we saw him come up with an interception last week against McMaster.
I gave props to McDonald on that a few times, but I didn't get an email from Miniacci, but we'll give him the shout out now.
The check's in the mail. So Riva loses a yard on that play. We got a timeout on the field.
You know, really, anybody I talked to the football game about leading up this week, and there's several people from all walks of life wanted to know what I thought, and I said, and it was one of my keys, it's going to be one in the running game for Western. If Western gets that running game going, and you look at his average in the playoffs, 225 yards, only 44 so far. Mind you, it's still the first half. If Riva and company can get the ball going, it's going to be a long day for Queens, but it's been the other way around.
Like those 44 yards have come on 19 carries.
Yeah, not indicative of the yards per carry he's used to.
No, sir. Well over 6 a carry coming into this game. Play action from Falls on 2nd and 11. Down he goes for the safety. Shamari Williams. And Queens takes a 23-17 lead.
You know what, Timmy? I have a feeling today is going to be the human highlight film for Shamari Williams. And you know what? Guys up there just can't hold him. Greg Wilson had a stab at him. Buttrell and Norman have been trying to contain him all day, and they are not doing a very good job.
His 6th sack of the season puts 2 more on the board for the Gaels. 8.5 tackles for losses in the regular season. That was 4th in the CIS, and he only played 6 games, Mike. He wasn't eligible for the first 2 after transferring.
No, he can play, and it's the attitude adjustment he made coming from a big program, walking into great locker rooms and nice stadiums and playing against big-time college teams, and then you come to, you know, quite frankly, sometimes situations that aren't the same. He didn't hang his head. He came to play football because he knows at the end of the day he wants to help this team win and probably carry on this career to the next level.
So Liram Hairulahu will have to kick off after the safety. And maybe the limited mobility of Michael Faulds playing a factor as Surya will take it out to the 37-yard line. The Gaels get another 2 to lead 23-17 with 1:20 left in the 102nd Yates Cup first half.
Instead of taking it. I worked that up there, boy. That was this one. 4 yards. Could be 4 yards, could be the difference between a field goal and 10 or a touchdown.
The winner moves on to face the winner of the Dunsmore Cup, which is the Quebec League final taking place between Laval and Montreal. Right now, It's the hometown Gaels leading 23-17. Buck 20 left in the first half. It slips out of the hands of Brannigan. Ioannidis almost came up with it. Comedy of errors there.
Actually, pretty lucky for Danny Brannigan. That ball didn't go the other way. Ioannidis got the heads up and looked like he almost caught the back stripe, which is not easy to do, and he almost came down with it. Surla gets his hand on it and knock it away as well.
Saw Connor Elliott deliver a blow. Good to see him back into the game. No doubt a little relief for Greg Marshall and his defensive coordinator, Coach Gleason. Brannigan trips it and completes it. Wahlberg across midfield, a gain of 18.
You know what happens here is you're putting John Surla, your middle linebacker, into a tough position to come out and try and cover a Scott Wahlberg. You know, leading the nation in receiving, making plays like that.
We're in a little hurry up here in the final minute of the first half. Brannigan with plenty of time. One hop that Surya will try and sell it. But I'll tell you what, Jim Lindsay, the umpire, not falling for it.
And those boys up front are giving Brannigan a ton of time. Surya comes on the short end of this one here. The ball hops just shy of getting to him. But the time, that's the difference. The time that Brannigan is getting compared to what Faulds is getting is what is going to be the big factor in the long haul of this football game.
Andy Rady, Faulds, all-conference center out of the game. Brannigan to the flats, completes. Gordon slips a tackle, falling at the 45-yard line, gain of 7. Interesting time here, Mike. 56 seconds left on the clock, 3rd and 3.
Nice pass here to Gordon. Just does enough to gain positive yards, give him an opportunity with 3rd and 3 to go for it, and they are. Last time they went to Gordon.
It's an opportunity here for the Western defense. 3rd and 3, Brannigan to pass. Pressure in his face, delivers the ball, and he is drilled. Wahlberg absolutely hammered by Craig Butler. And Western, thanks to Butler, turns it over on downs.
Just take a look and listen to this hit. You know what? A little chin music right there. Knocks the ball away from Wahlberg. It's nice to see Wahlberg bounce back up. But that's how a safety plays back there. He attacks the football at all times and at all costs. And big play for Western.
Looked like a guy you used to play with in Hamilton.
You better believe it. Number 42.
Rob Hitchcock said earlier he arrives with bad intentions, and Butler did just that. So Falls now with an opportunity, 47 seconds left. Throws to Sean Thomas, his first reception. Crowd screams for a hold. They don't need it. Allen, along with Laporte and Sultana to make the tackle.
And really, Chris Smith, or pardon me, Nathan Reva's lucky he didn't get a hold here on Chris Smith, who was coming up to try and make a play in the backfield. Right-hand side of your screen, he's all but pulling him to the ground. And Jimmy Allen again coming up, forces the gang tackle, and a great play.
Falls, 2nd down and 12. Tried to get it to Thomas again. It's not there. And it'll be 3rd down. So Butler with a big play to turn it over. Western, a quick 2 and out. And with 32 seconds left, and the nation's 2nd all-time leading passer on the other side of the field, plenty of time for Queens.
Yeah, and that defense by Queens is not giving up enough. And look at those around the football. Number 48, Pankovic. He is playing like a madman today. A lot of intelligence for a young football player.
Wheeler into punt, standing at his own 29-yard line. Jimmy Allen, perhaps the single most dangerous returner in the CIS, from his own 35. Good special teams work by Western. Limit the return to 7 after a 32-yard punt.
We talked off the top about coaching. Now it's an opportunity for clock management with under 3 minutes left, only 23 seconds left in the football game. 2 timeouts Coach Sheehan has. See if he can drag it out and get some momentum, move this ball down to scoring position.
Queens beginning from their own 42 with those 23 seconds left in the clock. Brannigan, pressure coming. Gets it to Surya, who makes the reception. It's a gain of 11, and Chris Greaves was within inches of dragging down Brannigan.
A nice job by Surya making the catch. You're going to go to a no huddle. Watch the patience of Brannigan. He literally puts an arm on his offensive lineman, gains himself some room, and throws a strike.
Speaking of strikes, trying to go down the middle. It'll fall incomplete. Closest men to the football were Hanser and Butler of the Western Mustangs.
What that incomplete pass does is it allows the team to get back into a huddle situation, get a play in from the sidelines. You can see, or you can't see, I can see some action on the sidelines. The coaches, you'll see the yellow boards in the background, which are plays being sent in. From the sidelines, they'll have two different play calls, so there can't get any tips on what that actually is if you're a Western player.
2nd and 10. Near the midfield stripe. Brannigan over the middle and completes. Ioannidis into Western territory at the 37-yard line. It's a gain of 18, just 2.4 left in the clock. You try the long field goal?
Yeah, I think you do. And Ioannidis here does just enough of a job to go down, to leave some time on the clock. Set up a field goal by Village.
They will pin it down at the 44-yard line. He has a long of 47 yards on the season. Second team OUA All-Star.
Look who's holding that ball for him, too. Jimmy Allen. I always like to see who the holder is and see what kind of athlete he is. Generally, it's a backup quarterback. When you have a guy like Jimmy Allen there, we know what he can do whenever he gets the football in his hands. Just keep an eye, you never know.
You never know on these last plays about the man returning it. Butler is back there. If Village happens to miss. From 44 yards away to end the first half. The kick is up. And it is good. Dan Village gives the Gaels a 26-17 lead to end the first half. And this crowd is loving it here in Kingston.
And that is a very strong kick right through the uprights from 44 yards out. Not an easy kick, especially a playoff kick with that pressure.
Village with the triple as we go down to Glenn Sheeler.
30 Seconds with, brought to you by Pioneer Petroleums. Earn bonus bucks at Pioneer Petroleums to spend on fuel, snacks, and more.
Coach, 4 lead changes in the first half. It's a really close game. You're down by 9, though. What are your concerns here going into half?
Well, that was a big field goal that they made at the end of the half, and down by 6 is a big difference than down by 9. But you know what? We got to make some plays, and we got to make some throws, and there's some. We got to do a good job protecting. Give Queens credit; they did a good job up front, stopping our run in that second quarter.
Yeah. What adjustments do you have to make to start winning that battle in the trenches?
Well, I don't know if it's so much adjusting. We got to look at our play call. We got to look at what formations that Queens is using, and kind of we may have to throw the football. If they're going to commit to stop the run, we can't force it in there. But hey, it's going to be a good second half.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
See you in a bit. Greg Marshall has never lost an OUA playoff game. That streak could be in jeopardy today, but his Western Mustangs have been money in the third quarter all season. Can they do it one more time? They'll have to. USS, the halftime show, brought to you by Bel Air Direct, coming up next. The year was 1992, and the Queens Golden Gaels completely dominated the St. Mary's Huskies, posting the first and only shutout in Vanier Cup history. Brad Elberg scored 3 touchdowns and was named player of the game after rushing for 136 yards. Queens went on to win 31-0 in front of over 28,000 fans at Skydome, capturing their 3rd Vanier Cup. This Vanier Cup vintage moment has been brought to you by Wilson, the official football of the OUA. Queens Gaels up 26-17 on the Mustangs at halftime. They haven't won a Yates Cup since 1978. Is this the day football's oldest trophy comes back to Kingston? Time now for a look at the Cross Canada Scoreboard, brought to you by AMJ Campbell, proud to be the official mover of the OUA. In the Dunsmore Cup in Quebec, the defending Vanier Cup champion Laval Rouge are up 20-7 at halftime over Montreal. In the Loney Bowl out east, it's 17-6 St. Mary's over St. FX in the fourth quarter. And the Hardy Cup out west is early. Saskatchewan over Calgary 3-0 in the first. Well, Tim and Mike, I mentioned it going into break a while ago. Western's been a great team all season in the third quarter, but to do that, they'll have to be a lot better than they were in the first half, guys.
26-17 Queens, second half.
The Western Mustangs had an opportunity early to put some points on the board, stuff, but John Leckie responds, punches it into the end zone. We knew that we would get a heavyweight battle, and that's exactly what we got. Because the Gaels respond with a 68-yard bomb to Devin Shane. They didn't stop there. 22 yards to Chris Ioannidis, the second all-time leading passer in CIS history, getting the job done as Leckie punches it in. They come right back for Shane, his second touchdown reception of the game, and then the safety from Shamari Williams. Had a field goal at the end of the first half, and it's a 26-17 ball game. Mike, what do the stats say to you?
Well, what they're really saying to me is they may be winning the rushing battle, Western, but it's not what they're used to. That defensive line of Queens is really eating them up. Time of possession heavily in Western favor, but it's not showing on the scoreboard.
This is Richardson Stadium in Kingston, the 102nd edition of the Yates Cup, alongside Mike Moriali. I'm Tim McCallum, Glenn Sheeler, DJ Bennett, live coast to coast on the Score HD. Western has been dominant in the third quarter, and they will have to be dominant once more to climb back into this game down 9 at halftime. Aaron Hanser, big hole, cross the 35 and out to the 38-yard line.
Aaron Hanser returns Village's kick. Matt Vickers with the tackle.
So Mike Falls will get his first opportunity of the second half. The nation's all-time leading passer. In case you're just joining us, you haven't watched any CIS football this year, the top two passers in the nation, both fifth-year senior, going toe-to-toe. Falls will complete to Bell. Oh, the ball came out at the end of the play, and they will say he had it. At the 44-yard line, complete, and there you see down the stretch in the third quarter, 131 points for, just 24 against for Western, and they catch a break early here in the second half.
Oh, I really believe they do. That didn't look like a caught football.
A 23-yard gain. We'll have a look at it in just a split second as they go back to the air and complete to the outside. Zach Bull dancing, almost found himself in wide open spaces. It's a gain of 8, and let's go back to the catch by Jesse Bellamy and determine whether or not it was indeed a catch.
Yeah, left-hand side of your screen, just see if there's a stop rotation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a catch. Our vantage point with our backs, or Bellamy's back to us, looked like the ball popped loose, but want to clear that up, definitely a caught football.
Great job by John Pringle, the official on that side. Second down and 2, Viva. And that Queens defensive line are having themselves a game.
You know, and what can you say about the defensive line, the linebackers with Leeper, Vickers coming up and making plays, Ikwoma just pushing and putting pressure upfield. Wow, this is really not what we're used to.
Given all the success from the Queens D-line, are you still confident in the way Greg Marshall wants to push it on third down and go for it continuously?
I think it's because of the spot on the football field. He's never going to change the mentality of how he coaches, and he's got the utmost faith.
On third down and 1, Riva has the first down. Hard fought 2 yards, but they'll move the sticks.
Big play on third down, moving the sticks into the Queens end of things, and that time Hegarty does a good job in the backfield. helping out his offensive lineman, trying to make some space. Matt Norman comes around the edge. Reeve a little more patient that time. Bides his time, finds a crease, takes advantage of it.
So the gunslinger gets a fresh set of downs on 3rd and 1. Ball's under center. He'll drop straight back. Down the sidelines, and the reception is made at the 1-yard line. A big play from Zach Bull.
Zach Bull's made big plays all year long, and none bigger than now. The 3rd quarter stats, we talked about it, coming right into play here. Ball gets hung up in the air. Bull comes back, fights back to the football, over Vickers. That's a great catch.
Coach Marshall talked about his need to get vertical on this Queens defense for them to respect that run. He said that Bull was the man to do it, and you see him hobbling off. He's gone through so many different injuries in his time at Western, but a big play gives him 1st down, goal to go from the 1. Leckie the deep back, full house backfield, handed off. 3rd touchdown of the game for John Leckie. And the Western Mustangs with a great start to the 3rd quarter.
They needed to respond in a big way going into the half, down 9, and Greg Marshall talked about it. It's more difficult to be down 9 than it is 6 with that field goal at the end of the half by Queens, but Leckie, 3rd time, he's basically walked into the end zone. This time he has to pick himself up off the ground, but not too many people have touched him crossing that goal line.
We talked about their starts of the 2nd half, Mike. Make it outscoring oppositions 138-24. Their first possession of the 3rd quarter. And the Western Mustangs have made it a 2-point game. Brannigan gets his chance when we return. John Leckie, 3 one-yard touchdown runs. And Western begins the 3rd quarter with a picture-perfect drive, going 72 yards in just 2 minutes, 44 seconds. Liram Hairulahu puts his right foot to it. Jimmy Allen from the 5. He'll take it out to the 29-yard line as Danny Brannigan comes back. Well, Leckie has the 3 one-yard touchdown runs. Brannigan has 3 touchdown passes to help the Gaels to a 2-point lead here in the 3rd quarter.
Now we'll take a time to look back and see some of the changes on the Western defensive line they made to get to Brannigan and stop him from having so much time and completing those 3 big TDs.
In-game adjustments, huge in the game of football. See if Western made the right ones at halftime. Certainly did on the offensive side of the football. And they limit Gordon to 2 yards on 1st down as now, Matt Norman made the tackle.
Now comes the intermediate throwing game that Brannigan likes to do. Throws underneath, under route by some of his slot backs and goes over top by the opposite receiver on the other side. Something every team in the league does, and it's a very tough play to defend. Let's see if they go to it on this play.
2nd and 8. Brannigan delivers, and Wahlberg goes down to the ground to make a great reception. Gain of 10 and a 1st down as the latest in a long line of receivers here at Queens makes a play for Danny Brannigan.
And you know what? They just go to simple hook routes against the play. And we look at Wahlberg right now, and we talked about this list previous. I've had the opportunity to play with a few of those guys on that list, and love watching Rob Bagg and what he's done in Saskatchewan as well. But Wahlberg has the opportunity now to take it to the next level also.
He's led the nation in receiving in each of the last 2 years. Went for Surya, who had a step and more, but Brannigan missed him.
Did miss him. They ran an out route by the number 3 receiver and 2 goes on the outside. Had the opportunity. Surya came open just a bit through his outstretched arms, but the arm strength of Brannigan putting it out there. Surya just couldn't catch up.
Brings up 2nd down and 10. from the 42-yard line. Here comes the blitz. And Wahlberg again on second down is close to a Queens first down. Call it a gain of 10 for now. And it is very close.
Balanced receiver set. Everybody runs hooks. Butler has a chance of this ball. Undercuts it, but can't get there. Looks like they're going to bring in the sticks to measure to see how close they got, but that's the confidence that Brannigan has tossing the football to his favorite receiver. This one's going to be mighty close to a first down.
And his favorite receiver absolutely killed the Stangs back in week 7. Ended up with 12 receptions, 154 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the Queens victory. That's as close as you can get. Where you drink, Walter, they tell us that it is 3rd and, I won't even say inches, it's 3rd and inch.
3rd and thickness of a dime.
No doubt, Coach Sheehan leaves out Brannigan and the offense. 3rd and an inch from the Queens 52. Use Howes, the backup quarterback, to shove it forward and move the chains.
Yeah, Howes gets in behind center, just literally has to lean himself forward, gets a little bit more than that. Get the ball up to the 54-yard line of the Gaels.
Over 10 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. Gaels by 2. Brannigan down the seam. Sheehan breaks the tackle inside the 20-yard line. Butler will finally bring him down at the 18. A gain of 38.
This is the exact same play they ran. They missed the ball to Surya on the opposite side of the field. It's an out route by the 3rd receiver and 2 seams. This time he goes to Sheehan on the inside seam. He's been killing them all day long. The same with this throw. Nice high and away. No one's going to get that. Foster comes over, tries to make a play, can't get there. Nice catch by Sheehan. And Butler has to keep running to make a touchdown save and tackle.
Sheehan, 3 catches, 125 yards, and 2 scores. Brannigan, end zone for Wahlberg, missed him. Wahlberg got in behind Mike Spence. And not by much, but Brannigan missed him.
Nope, Wahlberg lines up as a slot back, left-hand side for Brannigan, runs a corner route. And I tell you, Mike Spence is pretty lucky he doesn't get a flag on here. He's almost falling at the end of the play because he can't get to it. Ball's just outstretched enough. That corner route, Wahlberg had him beat.
Brannigan closing in on 300 yards with 9.5 left in the 3rd quarter. Delivering to the outside, it hangs up. Hanser had a shot at it, but it falls to the turf, and it'll be 3rd down.
And that was a bit of a dangerous throw from the one sideline to the other. That's a 40-yard throw to get there. The ball hangs up in the air enough that Hanser comes in front, knocks the ball away. But you could hear the Gaels offense from the sideline yelling, "Watch cover 0," which was a blitz look. That time Western showed blitz and came out of it. Brannigan just couldn't get the ball there.
Village will attempt from 26. The triple is good. And the Gaels take a 29-24 lead with 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Your OUA Athletes of the Week are brought to you by Pioneer Petroleums. Earn bonus bucks at Pioneer Petroleum. Spend on fuel, snacks, and more. And it goes to a pair of keepers. Matthew Grant of McMaster didn't allow a goal in 220 minutes of OUA men's soccer action, while Sarah Fiorini backstopped York to a pair of shutout victories as they won their 3rd championship in 5 years. After the main field goal by Queens, Western scrimmages from the 35-yard line go immediately to the air, and Travail, who breaks a tackle at the 45, cuts inside at midfield, down to the Queens 49-yard line, 26 yards for the Mustangs.
That's a nice job, Travail coming back to the football, but Sultana tries to jump it to the inside. You have to leave your outside arm free to make sure the defender, or the receiver, can't make the play and turn outside. Exactly what Travail did for a huge gain.
These two offenses landing haymaker after haymaker. It seems like every time someone scores, the other team responds immediately. Travail's latest for 26. Riva with a flag down will lose 2 more. TJ Leeper, the London native, on the tackle.
An insult to injury here. They're going to actually get a flag against Western for holding as well. Jaredot comes over. He'll get on the call. He's got his arm wrapped around the Gaels defender, and Riva's having a tough day, and so is that offensive line. We'll get the call right now.
Western, penalty is accepted, remains first down.
You know, for all the defensive plays and everything that's happened back and forth, Tim, there's just over a half of football. There's 53 points on the scoreboard already.
This shows you how good these two offenses are. Western led the nation 578 yards per game. Queens was 4th with an average of 495 yards per game. Those are Madden-like numbers. Pasick will throw back to Falls. Falls has got a man wide open. It's Jesse Bellamy over the shoulder. 5! And they will say touchdown Mustangs. A little trickery, and the Mustangs have the lead.
You know what? It doesn't get much better than this. This is obviously a play they practiced many times, and it all starts with 2 passes behind the line of scrimmage. So no forward passes until Falls get the ball back. There it is to Falls. Here's the second pass. The forward pass downfield to Bellamy, who just ekes into the end zone, leans forward, ball pops loose, but it crosses the plane.
Ooh. And Wheeler misses the extra point. 30-29 it remains. So what was a huge momentum swing for the Western Mustangs all of a sudden energizes this crowd. This is a light drive.
I've never seen a ball driven off the lower goalpost or upright right now, and Greg Marshall is not happy. Wheeler better keep walking away because he's going to chew a strip off him. There is no way that a kicker should miss a point after. It just should not happen.
Hyrule, who on the roster this week because Wheeler struggled with injuries throughout the year. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if I've ever seen that either. I did see on this very field a guy put one underneath the bar, which I've never seen.
I don't know if Wheeler can get further away without going to the dressing room.
Hyrule, who will kick off.
It wasn't a bad hold.
No, it was there. Here's Jimmy Allen. They send the return up to the left, but Western is waiting and will drop him at the 14-yard line. As Mike Haggerty makes the tackle, we go down to the trenches and DJ Bennett.
Well, in warm-ups, Wheeler was having some issues with his plant leg, and that's why if you notice, there's some tape under that plant leg, under his soccer cleats. He's more of a heavy-set guy on the top, and obviously, as you know, when his weight distribution goes to swing through, sometimes he slips. So that might be something to watch for. But Marshall, as you guys said, very colorful in talking to Wheeler afterwards.
DJ, I don't think Marshall cares about whether his leg is slipping or not.
Or if it's top heavy.
He wants him to get it through. Brannigan has that full response. 16 and a Queens first down.
Now that's perfect, Danny Brannigan. We've seen it time and time again in 5 years of playing this game. On his 14-yard line, perfect strike down the field. Calm and casual. Little in route. Plays Morrison. Nice catch.
On first and 10. One hopping the intended receiver, Surya, is Brannigan.
We're having a little bit of Surya and Danny Brannigan are having a bit of issue connecting, and that time there, Surya ran about a 6, 7, 8 yard hook, but never really stopped his feet, and Brannigan was looking at him, ready to unleash, and he didn't know where the receiver was going. And you got to make a defined move as a receiver so the quarterback knows you're ready to get the ball.
30-29 Western lead, 2nd and 10 for Queens. From their own 28, Brannigan on the run. Delivering to Surya, and they complete this one. 19 is the game for the Gaels.
You know, we're talking about Surya comes back, makes a huge play, keep it. His route running alive through the whole thing, but look at Danny Brannigan, gets pressure, hasn't had a lot all day, but he gets pressure in the backfield. They're helping up, being chased down, throws a strike. Surya running against John Surla. I'll take that matchup any day. And makes a nice catch coming across the field.
So the junior from Burlington's Notre Dame gives the Gaels another first down as they look for Wahlberg and find him. He's got speed. He's got a Gaels touchdown. And the lead goes back to Queens. 57 yards, and they have knighted the Oil Thigh again here in Kingston.
We talked about Wahlberg, how he's led the nation the last couple years, runs a corner route here, another great toss, and Mike Spence is left to just chase. He was so far gone behind him, he actually fell to the ground. Wahlberg in the end zone for a huge play. And now keep in mind that 1 point, put that in your back pocket. Maybe we'll bring it out later and talk about it if it comes down.
Counter punch from the Queens Golden Gaels, and it's 36-30 in the third. One-click access to OUA news, stats, schedules, photos, video, and more, courtesy of the OUA web browser and the dairy farmers of Canada. Visit OUA.ca/recharge with milk to download your free web browser skin today. Remember, drink chocolate milk to make tomorrow's workout better. And for one of these teams, there will be no tomorrow, and they're playing like it right now, Mike.
They're definitely playing like it. You look at Danny Brannigan on the sidelines. He has played outstanding today. Coach Sheehan likes what he sees. At the 9-minute mark, I turned to you and I said, there's 53 points already today. Less than 3 minutes later, that number is 66. A lot of offensive power on both sides of the field.
I see your 59-yard touchdown pass to Bellamy and match it with a 57-yarder to Scott Wahlberg.
You know, talk is cheap, and along the way, we were hoping we'd get the matchup, and you and I were sure we would. Boy, they left us a very happy bunch.
And there's still 21 minutes left to play in the game. Hansen at the 25. Drill ball comes loose. Western recovers. As if there hasn't been enough. Hansen loses the ball.
Connor Elliott comes out with it, but this is a big stick at the end of the play. And who's down there first? Shamari Williams. He strips the ball. You have a defensive end,
a starter
running down on kickoff team, First one down the field, rallies back, knocks the ball loose, and almost causes a turnover. I really can't explain to you how much that means to the guys on the sideline to see their starter come down, run like that, and make plays.
Riva finding some running room for the first time in this game as he gets thrown down by Smith at 15 yards to the 14-yard carry.
And you know what? We saw a little glimpse there of Nathan Riva break to the outside and show his speed. Smith, he's okay at the initial contact. Right there, it's the throw that gets him the penalty, and rightfully so.
Unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. Queens, 15-yard penalty to the end of the play. First down.
Now let's get back to Shamari Williams just for a minute. We'll watch this play first. Has him wrapped up. It's that toss to the ground that'll get you. The reason is he's 2 yards out of bounds. But Shamari Williams runs down on kickoff, first man down, strips the ball, has to line up right away at his defensive end position. That's not easy to do for a big man.
First and 10 Western from the 51 of Queens. Pressure comes from Ugloma, and the big paw will drag balls down for a loss of 8 yards.
You know, we talked a lot about Shamari Williams. Look at his counterpart right there on the other side. That hand was up and around the face of Faulds. Tough to see exactly what happened, but the strength. Now wraps him up fair, no face mask, puts him right to the ground.
As you can see, Greg Marshall, I think it's a bit perturbed.
He's calling for a horse collar tackle, so you can't reach inside of the shoulder pads and pull the guy to the ground. Now that's always called from behind. So if you're grabbing behind on a horse collar, on the back of your head, let's say, and pulling it down, that's an easily called one. This one here, the Cuoma gets the side. You know what? You're not going to make that call. He's just grabbing
maybe the drag
side.
Here, though, was a little...
Well, you know what?
It's had excessive, but
this is not your traditional horse collar by any stretch of the imagination.
Ugloma, the senior from Mississauga, gets the sack, and it'll be 2nd and 18. First down available at the Queens 41. Falls, pressure coming, delivers, and he would have had the first down, but Zach Bull couldn't hang on to it.
You know, we gave a lot of props to Zach Bull all season coming up with big plays. He needed to make one there for his team. But Cuoma again in the backfield getting pressure at the very end of the play. Falls just kind of falls to the ground, ducks out of the way anticipating a hit. Bull's got to come up with that football.
I think he heard the footsteps of David Rooney looking for the knockout blow.
Greg Marshall talking to Matt Norman right now. He is not happy with this offensive line. There is no way they should be getting that much pressure.
Wheeler under pressure. Surya from his own 20. And he is dropped by Corey Watson at the 26-yard line. 39-yard punt. What a game we got going here. Danny Brannigan gets it back. Not bad totals for this game as we are still in the third quarter. In fact, just under 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
4 TDs, pushing 400 yards, not bad.
He's trying to make a statement and take home the first Yates Cup of his 5-year career. Completes, Fallberg near the 35. Gain of 6, maybe 7 on the play.
I want you to keep your eye on that play again. That time there, Wahlberg was underneath it, running in a hitch route. Blaze Morrison on the outside runs a go route, and they leave him wide open. You see on the left-hand side, What they'll have to do is give a little pump fake to Valberg, go over the top to Morrison later on.
Brannigan has told us time and again that what he wants is the Yates Cup. Wasn't worried about the individual accolades, and this is his opportunity. Great cutback by Marty Gordon. He has the first down and way more, crossing midfield to the Western 52-yard line. A 25-yard saunter from the Gaels back.
You know what? You need athletic ability to be a running back, but more importantly, you need vision. And the vision of following his blockers here, Marty Gordon does an amazing job cutting back against the grain. It takes 4 guys to drag him downfield.
3:40 left, third quarter. Queens leading by 6. Looking to add to it as they pitch to Gordon. And he was just lucky to get back to the initial line of scrimmage.
And you look who got in the backfield first. We've talked about him a lot. Number 24, Connor Elliott, makes his way from his linebacker position, Sam linebacker position, to the wide side of the field, gets into the backfield, disrupts that play for a limited gain.
Let's go down to the sidelines. DJ Bennett and halftime adjustments. DJ, you seeing something?
Yeah, in-game adjustment actually on the defensive side of the ball. Jans is now in for Spence, who's had trouble getting deep and has let man behind him. Even on his interception, he was in the wrong coverage. So Jans, a returning wide receiver from last year, is now in the secondary for Western.
They complete to Ioannidis. Kaiser on the tackle, good for a gain of 5. So Coach Gleason shuffling different men in and out in an attempt to slow down this Queens offense. And it'll be third down here.
Haven't called Kaiser's name a lot today. He's a big play linebacker along with John Surla and Connor Elliott on that Western defense, and certainly need him to come up big.
Give us an opportunity to take a breath here in the third quarter. Village trying to angle it out of bounds. It hops back into the field. Trying to pick it up to draw the flag, and they do. So they get the no yards, and it'll get it across the 30-yard line when we come back to Richardson Stadium. Queens by 6.
What she lacks for in size, she makes up with enthusiasm.
1:22 left on the clock. Falls the pitch. Nathan Riva. Touchdown Western! And the Mustangs have the lead. It's a 5-point game, but they've left 1:16 left in the clock.
A lot of time.
What a game this has been. 2nd and 10. Again, the blitz comes. And again, he completes. Plays Morrison. Breaks a tackle. 15. Gets a block. Touchdown Queens! The Gaels march 85 yards and punch it in for the go-ahead score with 13 seconds left on the clock. We said at the start of this game, if we saw anything like we saw in week 7, we'd be in for a treat. Didn't lie to you. We're seeing it. 36-30. Queens leads Western with the ball. Wide receiver screen to Travail. Tried to set up his blocks. Ends up with a gain of 6.
First time we've seen the wide receiver screen use, this time off a pitch.
Sorry to Bull.
Backside. Fake pitch to Riva, back to Bull to the screen. That's something that's a good play on first down to get some positive yardage. That time it picked up 6 yards. It seems they're changing their offensive philosophy just a little bit to try and get some more momentum.
2nd and 4. Quick hitter to Passek. Will pick up the first down at the 44-yard line.
You know what? They've gone back to a little more traditional style. Get what you can on 1st and 2nd down. Move the chains. Use time off the clock. Get back to controlling the flow on offense.
You think that both teams got a little excited there in the third quarter? Got caught in the momentum of this?
Well, so did we, Tim.
Yeah, no.
It's been one of those games and big plays back and forth. But yeah, you have to settle down and make sure the task at hand. There's still a ton of time on the clock.
That was my question. Balls, play action. With pressure coming, going deep for Travail, who's open, he's got him! Forget playing it safe, another big play from Western down to the Gaels' 22-yard line as they pick up 44.
And you want to talk about big plays at the end of this play. Faulds takes a pop by two guys. Williams and Smith come in. Boom, you just catch the tail end of it and throws a perfect strike to Travail, makes a beautiful play. Watch the contact at the end of this play. Whack, the sandwich. But that's the strength of Michael Faulds hanging in the pocket to his favorite receiver today. And Nick Travail is having a whale of a game. Almost 130 yards in total on 7 catches.
Play action again. Faulds throwing, completing. Zach Bull in front of Vickers. And close to another first down.
Really
I like how Vickers asked for the push off there, sir. Great job by
the Queens guys are very polite. But that's the comeback route. They love to run. All Western receivers do it pretty well. Zach Bull runs to about a depth of 14 yards, comes back to 10, makes the catch, moves the sticks.
First down, 10 to go from the 11-yard line. Final minute, third quarter. Riva, who has had to work hard for every yard he's picked up. Got 5 there, it'll be second down.
That time, Matt Norman coming over from his left guard position, pulls around to the right-hand side. Opens up a little crease for Riva, but it has been a workman's day for Nathan Riva.
This coming off a game in which he carried the rock 42 times for 279 yards. Got 23 carries to 67 yards. Big second down, crowd on their feet in the final minute of the third quarter. Riva surrounded and dropped in the backfield. Who else but Shamari Williams, along with Chris Smith.
You cannot, if you're an offensive lineman, give up on the backhand side of plays. That time, Shamari Williams came from the backside, chased down right through the line of scrimmage, right by his men, gets into the backfield, and stops what would have been a huge play for Western just through plain hustle. He doesn't take plays off, Tim. He's going the whole time.
Which will bring Wheeler out on third down. Another look. Great contain there to force him back to Williams, who finishes off the job. You remember the last time we saw Wheeler, he was being chewed out. Greg Marshall. Final play of the third quarter, and Wheeler hits the 3 to make it a 3-point game. We were expecting 2 of the best to go toe-to-toe, and that's exactly what we've got. We turned down the home stretch with a 3-point game. The right to call themselves Yates Cup champions.
Oh, it's just jubilation. It's an amazing feeling lifting it up, whether it's home or away. We know we beat a quality opponent. We've gone through a tough OUA schedule, and we're the Ontario champs.
Back-to-back Yates Cup MVP. Michael Faulds, 19 of 26, 351 yards through 3 quarters, and he is trailing his counterpart from Queens, Danny Brannigan, who has put up 409. That is your quarterback matchup, brought to you by Bel Air Direct Car Insurance. Visit belairdirect.com for a car insurance quote today. Well, when we were talking about this game, you often get caught up in the hyperbole, Mike, but these 2 guys, these 2 quarterbacks have definitely put on a show.
Well, they certainly have, and they're the leaders of their respective teams, and they're showing it today, and none more important than the time right now in the fourth quarter.
Brannigan begins, 1st and 10. And it looks like Blaze Morrison got hurt as he tried to go down and make that catch. And here are the stats through 3 quarters of play. It's hard to contain these 2 offenses, and when you see 424 and 467, you expect the game to be over, Mike.
Yeah, and sometimes 2 games total, but to be over. The turnovers have hurt Western a bit, but all in all, it's just been the strength of Brannigan, those 4 TDs that have really pushed them over the top.
Start of the fourth quarter, 3-point game. Western and Queens, 2nd and 10. Brannigan over the middle, completes to Gordon, gets to the outside of the 45, across midfield, down to the 52-yard line of Western. It's a 23-yard gain on 2nd and 10.
We talked a lot about Nathan Riva on the other side of the football and how he is out of the backfield. This gives you a glimpse of what Marty Gordon can do when he gets the ball in his hands. Takes a little short under route and runs by Serla, runs by Elliott. Really needs a big tackle at the end of the play. Simian to limit that game to even, could have been more yards.
Had a hammy in camp, it looks good now. And Volberg, has it off the fingertips. You don't see that very often from the All-Canadian.
Oh, that was so close. And Danny Brannigan, look at him, just back there, not upset. Let's go back, do it again. That's the seam route. They have been killing Western on the seam route. This time, Valber gets his hand position a little backwards, so actually tries to stab with the right hand. Can't slow down the rotation of football.
Which is why Jans is in that game. The seam route. They almost had another 6. Courtesy. Big play. Brannigan in the pocket has to step up. He will deliver. Ioannidis makes the cut inside and has the first down. And a gain is 16. Western screaming for a penalty, but no flags on the turf.
You want to see patience. You want to see pocket presence. Take a look at number 5 for Queens. Danny Brannigan sitting in the pocket. People collapsing all around him. Stepping up when he has to, delivering a strike, and then Ioannidis makes a huge play, taking this upfield for a big first down.
1st and 10 from the 36. Queens looking to respond after the Wheeler field goal. Looking for Blaze Morrison. Can't make the reception at the 22.
They go to the hooks to the field again, and that time,
what an arm.
Morrison and Valberg, they stop and kind of hover around that 10-yard mark. Brannigan throws it out there where no one else can get it, but Morrison just can't get enough on it to make the catch.
Brannigan, who missed a game and a half because of a concussion, still finished 3rd in the CIS this year. Is a candidate for OUA Player of the Year, eventually won by Falls, of course. Facing a 2nd and 10. Straight back, pressure from Elliott. Got it away, but it falls incomplete. Connor Elliott forcing the ball out of the hands of Brannigan before he wanted to.
And there's an example there of a cover 0 look, which means they're bringing a full-on blitz. No extra man in the defensive backfield. Connor Elliott comes off the line of scrimmage and gets into the face. Just enough to disrupt Brannigan as he's trying to look for Shane. Shane's complaining, saying, I got tugged on a bit. I'm trying to run that corner out. But no flag on the play.
Dan Village is going to attempt a 44-yard field goal. He's 2 of 2 on the day. He'll actually spot it at the 43. It's been good from 26 and 44. Snap is good. The kick is up. Long enough and off the upright. That close to making it a 6-point game, but it remains a 3-point spread as number 3 gets it back for Western.
Tommy!
What's Wheeler on the... An 80-year-old Big 4 rivalry here in Kingston. The Western Mustangs and the Queens Gaels in the 102nd edition of the Yates Cup. Western down 3, 12:33 left, 4th quarter. Start from their own 20, hand it off to Riva. They'll pick up 4 on first down as the Gaels continue to limit Nathan Riva.
They've done an amazing job limiting Riva to under 3 yards a carry when he's averaging close to 7 on the season, and they've done more than they could possibly ask, making big plays at big times and shooting the gaps. That time there, it's a positive game. But there's guys all around the football. Biniachi there wrapping them up for a limited game.
2nd and 5. Faulds going deep for Bull. It goes off his fingertips to the turf.
Bull does make a nice attempt at trying to snag the football, but gets twisted around at the end. Ball actually hangs up in the air a bit. Wind is starting to pick up. The flag's on the posts. And it almost looks like Western's going to take this fourth quarter into the wind. I don't know if DJ has an opportunity down the field to get a better feel for it from where we are.
Yeah, the wind is it has also dropped several degrees here in Kingston, getting a lot colder as the afternoon wears on. Wheeler into punt. Allen gets a block, flag down, and so is he at the Western 51-yard line. We will sort it out when we return to the 102nd Yates Cup live on the Score in HD. What a great game we have here. The top 2 passers in the history of the CIS waging one last battle in the 102nd Yates Cup alongside Mike Morialium, Tim McAuliffe, DJ Bennett, Glenn Sheeler on the sidelines. 11:30 left in the fourth quarter. Queens 36, Western 33. 2 of the most storied programs in the history of the game going toe-to-toe. Hope you're enjoying this as much as we are. Brannigan looking for that seam again. This time, Western had it covered with Butler and Jans.
Yeah, Butler does a nice job on that play, reading the patterns as they develop in front of him and coming over to cause a disruption. The ball sailed a bit on Brannigan, who we talked about earlier. I think that wind's picking up just enough to force that ball to float a bit as Valberg is in the area looking for another big play.
For the first time this afternoon, Brannigan has had 3 straight incompletions, the latest of which brings up a 2nd and 10. Valberg, one hand, because he can. And Hanser with a pretty nice tackle.
That's 2 great plays on one same play. First of all, the nice catch by Valberg, sticking out the one mitt and bringing it down, the right-handed snag, and then Hanser. That's a big tackle, because when Valberg has space, he can make people miss.
We've seen what it ends up like. And I don't think the guy with the white helmet is a part of the game. Even the streakers are going untouched here today, Mike.
I never see someone care less. Oh, you don't want to do that. He tried to put a little head fake on Butler, and probably lucked out. Butler didn't lay the old chin into him.
And he escapes unscathed over the fence, although
I think he works out too.
I'm not sure you want to climb a fence in your ditch, but that's just one man. Butler, as we get back to business. Nice move out to the 38-yard line. A 45-yard punt, but a 15-yard return for number 15. And Western down 3, good field position.
Great field position. Anytime you can bring that ball and have the starting point on your own 44 going in, it's a nice place to be. 10:34 left on the clock, a ton of time. Got to watch the patience now of Mike Faulds. He tried to go deep the last series to Zach Gold, came up short. See if they maybe go back to their quick game, their 5-6 yarders on first down.
Play action from Falls. He's going to go deep. Down the sidelines. Got a man. Got a reception. Inside the 25. Down to the 22. It's Zach Bull. And it's a gain of 44 yards.
You know, they missed Zach Bull on the last possession, but what a strike Mike Falls threw on that one. I talked about chipping away, getting your 5-6 yarders on first down. Now with a Mike Falls behind center, he goes over the top. Vickers on the coverage and throws a beautiful football. Zach Bull makes a nice play, drags forward for another 4 or 5 yards, and wow, instant field position.
Now you know why he's the nation's leading passer. The run play action again. Gets a block, hurdles a man with one leg, throwing back across the body to Bellamy, and he has it. Down to the 7-yard line. A gain of 16.
You are not going to see much of a better block from an offensive lineman than you do right here. Matt Norman at the very last second takes out a Cuoma, so he can't get to Falls. Falls steps up, throws it back across his body. Bellamy bobbles it 3-4 times, comes up with a huge catch with Matt Norman. Believe me, he heard it from Greg Marshall a little while ago on the sidelines. Makes a very, very nice play setting up that.
The little thing. Set up first down, goal to go. Falls. End zone, nobody home. Looking for Bellamy. I think he saw that there was nothing there and just threw it away.
That's a tough throw to make from the right-hand side of the field. Throwing all the way to the other side from the right hash to the sidelines is that's a 40-something yard throw, and you know what? Bellamy came out really too flat. Jimmy Allen had an opportunity, if that ball was going to him, to undercut that and maybe take it the other way.
Second down, goal to go. Western Falls to the 1. Did he get in? No. Bellamy, the reception. They'll mark him at the 1-yard line. It'll be third down, goal to go. Although there is a flag on the play.
I think they're going to get called. Western is for offside.
It's going to come back.
Bellamy made a nice catch. Very nice catch. With coverage all over him. And another tough throw from that right hash mark. But this flag is going to bring it back.
Queens defense wants to know whether or not they should accept or decline. It'll be third down.
Back.
They're going to push him back.
Offside.
I agree with that.
Western, 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Greg Marshall's going for it, regardless on third down on the football field. That ball would have been placed probably about the 1 or 2 yard line. The top of the screen, you're going to get the offside. I think it was on Travail. Falls sit in the pocket. That knee still bothering him a bit.
Second down, goal to go. Crowd to its feet. Western working from the 12-yard line. Falls, tipped, and incomplete. John Miniacci, along with Kyle McDonald, in the middle.
Miniacci comes up, big number 99, puts his hands up, can't get to the quarterback. Next best thing, put your hands in the air. Knocks the ball away. Falls is upset. He had passage on a little quick post route right near the goal post that he wanted to hit him on. But the big lineman threw his hands up and knocked it away.
Wheeler for the tie from the 14. Low line drive hammered through. We knew we had ourselves a game, and with 8:43 left in the fourth, we are tied at 36. The kick is up, and it is good. The Western Mustangs remain undefeated. Pollock in the shotgun. They run the option. Pollock. Is he in? They say no. Ottawa holds, and they will win this football game with 5 seconds left. Again, the blitz comes.
And again, he completes. Blaze Morrison breaks a tackle. 15, gets a block. Touchdown, Queens! The Gaels march 85 yards and punch it in for the go-ahead score. Our 8th season broadcasting OUA football here on The Score, and we have had some great finishes. But in our last game, 2009, we may yet have our best. Tied at 36, 8:40 left to play, 4th quarter, Queens and Western. After the field goal by Western, Queens chooses to scrimmage from the 35, and they'll pick up 5 yards on 1st down with Marty Gordon.
Both teams trying to figure out each other's defenses after 3 quarters of playing football, and nice positive run by Marty Gordon. Leaves him in a 2nd and long 5 situation.
Gordon now 9 carries, 61 yards. Out of the backfield, they find him again. Connor Elliott bounces off that. But the Silver Buckets rally to the football. Jamie Simianic along with John Surla after Connor Elliott tried to drill him.
Yeah, that's a nice play by the Western defense, really rallying to the football. Ball gets out into the flats early to Marty Gordon. Elliott has the first stab at him, doesn't take him to the turf, but slows him down enough that Simianic comes over, and then Surla from his middle linebacker position wraps up. That's hustle in that defense. We want to get the ball back into their offense's hands.
Saw Surla trying to deliver the pop. He's had that shoulder problem. They just throw it back in. Saw the look on his face as if his shoulder was dislocated, and they just put it right back in. Why not? Butler, plenty of room. Couple blocks out to the 45-yard line. And the Western Mustangs again with a short field, tied at 36, 7:22 left in the 4th.
I think it does. I think he pops it back in. Yeah.
When there is no tomorrow, Mike, you do certain things. And Connor Elliott playing through a painful shoulder injury. Did they pop this back in here?
Take a look at his eyes and you tell me.
See the
John
whites of his
Surla
eye.
became the trainer on that play. That shows some heart. That's not a pretty, if you dislocate a finger, that thing hurts for months.
Great job by the boys in the truck to get that look to you. On 1st and 10, Falls looking deep again, and he's got his man again. Zach Bull with another big play inside the 25-yard line.
Mike Falls to Zach Bull, and again a nice delivered strike in the middle of the field. No safety in sight, and the ball goes up in the air. Beats his Ben DeAndre on the play. The man covering him, and you know what? Bull does a nice job separating himself from the defender and getting his body in front of him for a huge catch.
40 yards, give him 157 on the day. Give Western a 1st down. Late flag as Rooney tossed Riva out of bounds. And those are the plays you don't expect from seniors.
We've seen a few of these today, and I think the majority of them, if not all of them, have gone against Queens. And there are these late plays at the end of the play, or late penalties at the end of the play that have serious consequences in terms of field position, because they're big ones. These are 15-yarders.
Unnecessary roughness, face mask, Queens, half the distance to the goal line after the play, 1st down.
So it wasn't the late hit, it was the face mask that Rooney got a hold of. As they had bottled up Riva again.
Although along the sidelines, you don't need to do that.
No, the ball, he's already out of bounds pretty much the whole way right there. I mean, it's one of those tough ones.
Falls for the lead. The catch is made, and they will mark it out at the inch line. Travail laying out to come up with that ball, and they will mark it out at the 1.
You know, just when you think Western is out of it, they come back. A great football catch here, laying out.
Ooh.
Oh, that to me. You watch the reaction of Michael Falls here, who throws a beautiful football. That ball was caught. It looked like it crossed the plane. Remember, just has to cross the front of the line of scrimmage.
John Leckie, the deep back, could have his 4th 1-yard touchdown of the game. They hand it to him. TJ Leeper on the tackle. And that ruling at the 1-yard line could be massive, as Western stuffed on 1st down.
Leeper gets in the backfield in a hurry. Shamari Williams there as well. Leeper, the first one to get there, and how is he getting in there that quickly?
2nd down, goal to go. Tied at 36. Just under 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Leckie, the ball carrier, drilled in the backfield. He will not get in, and it is big time decision coming up for Greg Marshall.
Well, this decision will take this game to different levels, and you know what? He's going with a more conservative approach, and Wheeler's coming in. He's halfway in right now. Look at the stick in the backfield. Wow.
You got to take the points at 36, no?
You got to take the points. The difference is, do you take 7 or do you take your 3? And right now, Wheeler's coming out to take the 3, but let's think back to that missed point after. Right now, Western would be in the lead.
That's the difference. He missed the point after, but he is 3 of 3. Good from 28, 14 and 19. This is Chippy from 9 yards away, and the Western Mustangs have the lead, 39-36 with 5:17 left in the 4th. Wheeler's 4th field goal of the game makes it 39-36, but it could have been more, Mike, had this been ruled a touchdown.
Keep an eye on the nose of the football and where the stripe of the end zone is. There is no doubt to me.
It's so close.
Tim, it just has to cross the front of that goal line.
But he has to have possession of it.
You're right. He landed, though, on the stripe. That ball landed on the stripe.
Brannigan knocked down. Gresham Bailey got the arms up with 4:58 left in the clock.
First of all, it was an outstanding catch.
Great catch.
Second of all, getting back to the Western offense, and nice play there from Gresham Bailey. They didn't have enough faith in their offense to go for that touchdown because of the way that the Queens defense has been playing. That's how good they played today, stopping the run.
Last 2 possessions for Danny Brannigan, 2 and outs. 2nd and 10, empty backfield. Brannigan over the middle. Ioannidis has got it, and he hangs on to it, surviving the contact from Jans. It's a 28-yard Gaels gain.
You know, we always talk when you're an offensive-minded player about throwing into windows and seams, and right there was a perfect example. Ioannidis on the ground, took a little shot at the end of the play. Probably a little winded right now. I don't know how serious it is, but Brannigan found the little crease that Ioannidis settled into. About the middle of your screen, you'll see Ioannidis coming. Look at that strike. Takes a shot at the end, right in the small of the back, and that does not feel good. But wow, you know, you talk about touch, you talk about confidence. Ioannidis up on his feet after a fantastic catch, but the way he settled into that zone, Western's dropping back into the zone, doesn't want to give up anything deep, but they're giving up a 20-yard catch with 4 defenders back there. Nice job by both Brannigan and Ioannidis.
466 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions for Brannigan. the latest 28 yards to Ioannidis, who paid for it. 1st and 10, Queens from the Western 47. Brannigan barking out the signals. They hand it off. Gordon dragged down by Kaiser, but he'll pick up 11 and keep the drive alive by moving the sticks.
You want to talk about cutbacks? Take a look at what Gordon does here. Cutting back, Connor Elliott comes to make the tackle. Surlitz too, they both end up on the ground. Kaiser has to wrap him up, but a nice job of using some fancy footwork, coming back, watching his blockers in front of him. Big play.
In week 7, they went back and forth. Here in the Yates Cup final, they continue to punch and counterpunch. This time Jimmy Terrian gets the ball, but Chris Greaves, the OUA All-Star at defensive tackle, drops him for no gain.
Yeah, Greaves and that defensive line sniffed out the draw play there. First time we've seen it used by Queens all game, and on first down, kind of a little bit of a tendency breaker, but Isavides lets Greaves go. Didn't get enough on him, and Greaves makes a big play.
So it's 2nd and 10. Gaels down 3. Just under 3.5 left in the 4th quarter. Brannigan over the middle, has the completion, has the 1st down. It's Ioannidis back in the game with a big play.
You want to know why Coach Sheehan likes how Ioannidis plays, because how cerebral he is. He sits down in zones right in the middle of your screen. You don't need to run through it. Find out where the open area is. Look back to your quarterback. Make yourself a target, and the ball ends up in your hands. Well-run play.
133 yards receiving for Ioannidis. He had 125 in their first meeting. 1st and 10, Queens from the 16-yard line. Brannigan over the middle for Ballberg. Touchdown, Queens! The 7th lead change of this football game comes courtesy of Scott Ballberg.
You heard it, throwing it on a rope. This is what it's all about. High and away, no one else can get it. Over top, 2 defenders. A huge play. Great concentration by Ballberg. An even better superb throw by Brannigan.
Tack on the extra point. And the Oil 5 plays once more. 43-39. We've hit the 3-minute warning in the Yates Cup. Bitter rivals first met back in 1929, and I'm not sure we've seen a game like this since. The top 2 passers in the history of Canadian college football going back and forth. Queens leads 43-39 with 2:49 left on the clock in the 4th quarter.
You know, we talk off the top, Tim, about it not getting much better than this, and when the game unfolds the way you anticipate it to unfold, it just creates a situation where there's less than 3 minutes left in the game, and this is what it's all about right here.
Joe Paterno once said, what counts in sports is not the victory, but the magnificence of the struggle. I hope you're enjoying the magnificence of this struggle. Cancer out to the 26-yard line, and Mike Falls, the OUA MVP, in a close vote with Danny Brannigan, will get his shot with 2:42 left in the clock.
The Don't underestimate the value of coaching on either side of the field, either sideline right now, to manage this clock, manage the hurry-up drill if needed, at the most important time of both seasons, of this season for both teams.
This is an unbelievable scene. Queens players getting the crowd jacked up. 1st and 10 Western from the 26. Riva on the handoff, got big fellas in front of him. And a flag goes down as Riva hits the turf at the 30-yard line. This may come back.
Definitely going to come back. He's going to be holding on the receiver to the wide side as Riva tries to stretch it out. But again, I think Jimmy Allen is the guy that forced the penalty flag.
They picked up the flag. No penalty on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Might have been for contact downfield. They pick up the flag when they realize it's a run.
Yeah, that's a big change for Western. It would have really backed them up. Now it gets them to 2nd immediately.
This crowd on its feet here at Richardson Stadium. Falls to throw, and it is almost intercepted. Rooney had a shot at the ball. It'll be 3rd down with 2:23 left. And the punt unit comes on for Western.
It's a miscommunication here between Falls and his receivers. It's a quick throw. Passage doesn't float to the outside. Rooney has a legitimate chance at it. Kind of jumps between Bull and Pasick, and the ball falls short. Now this is a big punting situation. Wheeler needs to come up with a nice kick to force Queens back.
If you're wondering about the decision to punt, remember, back in week 7, Queens got the ball back with 1:16 left in the clock, marched 85 yards for the game-winning score. Back of Greg Marshall's mind as he sends Wheeler into punt. It is a short kick. It will take a hop to the 50 and the midfield. With a 4-point lead, Danny Brannigan can put an end to this.
Take a look at Greg Marshall on the sideline, calm and composed. The same with Pat Sheehan, as outruns Danny Brannigan, who you don't write too many better scripts for what you're seeing today. With the opportunity with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left, up by 4 points, to take all the time he can, work his way down the field.
2:12 left. 1st and 10 Queens. Marty Gordon, the ball carrier. Stretch out ball comes loose. They'll say he was down. Whistles go, and it's the right call.
The right
gain
call
of
for
4.
Whistles were down. The body was down first. Ball pops loose late at the end.
But I'm sure Coach Sheehan will be saying to Marty, tuck it away.
Yeah.
You're not Walter Payton.
No, this is not the time where you're trying to get those extra 1 or 2 yards, because more often than not that results in some sort of turnover, but you want to keep the ball on the ground. The reason is to keep the clock running under 2 minutes and counting.
1:55 left in the clock. 2nd down and 6. Queens looking for a 1st down. Blitz comes. It is knocked into the air and falls incomplete. Western will get it back. 1:45 left in the clock.
A nice play again by the defensive line of Western, who all game has had issues. Gresham Bailey takes one off the face, bounces up in the air. If you want to know why Danny Brannigan didn't go to catch it, he can't throw it again. You can't have 2 forward passes.
I will say something though. If he catches it, takes a knee, the clock keeps running.
That's a good point.
But better safe than sorry, right?
In the heat of the battle.
Exactly. Village into punt. Queens by 4. Low snap, able to handle it. Low kick, Butler. From the 16. Craig Butler with a 9-yard return out to the 25-yard line, and it comes down to this. 1:36 left in the clock, and the ball placed in the hands of the nation's all-time leading passer. The crowd rises here in Kingston will we match week 7?
Well, Tim, it's been an absolutely outstanding game so far. So fitting that these two teams with these two quarterbacks leading them should come down to the wire, just like I'm sure the voting did for Heckright nominee, for All-Star. I mean, how do you separate the two?
We're about to. We are about to. 1st and 10. Draw play with Riva. And Nathan Riva will pick up 11. 1:30 left on the clock.
A little change of pace again. You see Riva wincing a bit. He's been banged up as of late too. Draw play up the field and big game.
1st and 10 now from the 36. Falls under pressure. Has to escape. Remember, working with one leg, going deep for Travail. He made the catch inside the 35. It'll be 1st down Western after another big play by Mike Falls. 41 yards the game.
You watch Greg Marshall on the sideline. He's asking for the guys to huddle up, to get together. Travail, an outstanding catch. Mike Falls making things happen. Guys are turning a broken play into something downfield. Travail, little subtle push off. There's no doubt about it, but he gets away with it because he doesn't extend his hands. Jimmy Allen right in the coverage, but wow.
Timeout Western after the 41-yard gain. Travail a big day, but Mike Falls has just gone over 500 yards passing in this game.
This is just an outstanding display of football by two of the all-time greats.
If you don't like this, you don't like football, period. Because what you're seeing here is a display by two great leaders, two great teams, and two great coaches.
You know, Tim, there's not much more to say to that. It's played out on the field the way it should have played out, with two evenly matched teams, well coached, like you said. Western with an opportunity now with 1:12 left on the clock. On the 33-yard line of Queens, down by 4.
Marshall was discussing the play clock and the game clock, making sure he gets all the time he needs. And the crowd roars once more. Mike Falls, 503 yards passing, but he needs more with 1:12 left in the clock. 1st and 10 from the Queens 26. They hand it off. Riva, the ball carrier. There's a flag down on the play.
Sean Thomas going to get called an offside, and he actually might have hurt himself. We see Rivas, he's hobbled a bit. On that last play, he came up a little grimacing, and now that ankle seems to be giving him some issues, and you definitely don't want that to happen with just over a minute left in the Yates Cup.
Riva hyperextended his knee in week 7 here at Richardson Stadium against Queens. They're going to push him back here. You'd assume they would have to.
Offside, Western, 5-yard penalty. It remains 1st down.
Okay, so it'll be 1st and 15.
So Tim, here's the situation we talked about. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm excited too. They have to go for 7.
Yes.
That single point, a huge thing still. There's no chance of tying up here. They got to go for 7.
43-39, Falls on the roll. Looking to the flats. It falls incomplete. And Falls is down on the turf and slow to get up. And this is the last thing that you want to see. Falls down, and he will have to come out unless Western uses their timeout. He has been battling a knee injury for about 5 weeks now. And what a way this would be to end his career.
You know, it's not a structural issue per se. It's something that keeps flaring up on him. We've seen him come out on several occasions.
And when Donnie Marshall has come in, Western has looked for big plays. And with a minute left,
That's exactly what they need. We saw him come in against Queens. He went deep immediately. It was an incomplete pass. The second time he got in against Guelph, big bomb, this time complete to Travail. And last week against Laurier, they attempted the throwback with Pasick, and Marshall had an opportunity to drop the football. Michael Faulds, the nation's leading passer, down 4 points with a minute left in the OUA season, is helped off the field. And Donnie Marshall has to step into the fire. The coach's son in his second year, facing 2nd and 15 from the Queens 37. What a situation for Western. Will they respond? They hand it off to Riva. He's trying to get to the outside and is shoved out of bounds near the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Probably a good decision for Donnie Marshall. Hand the football off. I know they're doing some scouting on that Queens sideline, knowing that he usually goes for broke. Riva smartly gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Mike Faulds right now, a frustrated
trying to get back into the game, and they held him. 1 timeout left. 54 seconds left on the clock. Unbelievable drama. 3rd and 3. Crowd on its feet. They will pitch to Riva. Cuts it up. Hammered. It'll be awfully close. The season comes down to a measurement. The sticks will come out, and as if all the drama weren't enough, Murray Drinkwalter will stretch them out and determine the fate of the Western Mustangs.
And really not much to say here, Tim. Just
pitchers
wait on what everyone else is waiting on.
We'll tell 1,000 words. First down, Western. And there is hope in London. DJ Bennett, what do you got for us?
Guys, you know it's a big moment. Michael Faulds tried to get back in the ball game, tried to convince his coach, trying to take the field. He collapsed on that knee. It looks like it's going to be Donnie Marshall's show. And you know, all guys want to win it for Mike Faulds right now.
1st and 10. Marshall on the roll, throwing, and it'll be incomplete. 31 seconds left. 2nd and 10. And Greg Marshall is screaming about the play clock and the game clock.
He's got a point, Tim. That was about 33.5 seconds when the ball went out of bounds and the whistle was blown. It rolled down to 31.9 right now. And Mike Faulds can barely, he tried, he cannot make it on the field.
This is unbelievable. Faulds is trying to run out there in his 5th year, what could be his final football game, and he just can't make it out. 2nd and 10 from the Queens 21. They run the draw. Riva breaks the tackle, trying to get to the outside. Flag comes down as Riva steps out at the 13-yard line.
Yeah, Nick Travail is going to get called on the holding on this play. Clock is stopped. Riva trying, as he might, to get to the sidelines, and Jimmy Allen coming up to force him out of bounds, limiting that gain. And they're going to push him back. It's still 2nd down, but a long 2nd down.
25 seconds left on the clock. Queens leading 43.
Western, 10-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
39. Mike Faulds has been trying to get onto the field. In his 5th year, the nation's all-time leading passer just can't make it. And Donnie Marshall, the sophomore from London, he won a Western Ontario Bowl in high school, but this is different. It's the 102nd edition of the Yates Cup. 2nd down and 20. Ball placed
at the 32. Marshall, here comes the pressure. He escapes, throwing on the run, and it falls incomplete. The season will come down to this. 3rd and 20 with 17.5 seconds left on the clock. It is a shame to see Michael Falls on the sidelines in this opportunity.
Oh, it is. And you look at Donnie Marshall here getting thrust into the biggest game of his life, and Cuomo comes in to flush him, and he just throws a desperation pass, and the intended receiver, Zach Bowman, over his head. He's going to get another opportunity now as he comes to the sidelines, and you look at Mike Falls.
Not just the season on the line, his career is on the line. And basically, if he can walk, he's going to go in there on 3rd and 20.
The problem is, Tim, it's at the point now, I don't know if he can make it from the sidelines.
And you know you go to war with these guys each and every day for 5 years. And on 3rd and 20, Michael Falls will get to determine his fate. What a scene here at Richardson Stadium. Two of the most storied programs in the history of Canadian college football. The top 2 passers in the history of the CIS. And it comes down to this. 3rd and 20, crowd on its feet. 17.5 left on the clock. He can't even drop. He's gonna get rid of it though. Throw it, and it is incomplete. Hang your head. Michael Falls gave it his all.
I don't know, Tim, how he got out of the pressure initially to even get this football off down the field, and not much more to say other than the most valiant of efforts.
And Queens will kneel out the clock. I'm not sure anyone lost here. We just ran out of time. The Queens Golden Gaels are Yates Cup champions. Start of this broadcast, I turned to you and I said, I'm not sure how to do this game justice. And I look at you at the end of this game and I say the same thing. I'm not sure I can do this justice.
I really don't know. It was one of those games that, you know, you watch, you get the opportunity to be part of, and boy, you give credit to the guys in that field for living up to what we believe OUA football is all about.
For the first time in 31 years, the Queens Gaels are Yates Cup champions. Let's go down amidst the madness to Glenn Sheeler. Glenn?
It is the madness here with Jimmy Allen. Just describe this moment.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Feels like a dream right now.
What a game.
What a game. The offense stepped up. We didn't play that well on D, myself especially. We give some props to our own, Danny especially. The offense won this game for us.
This means a lot to the university, to the community. It's been 31 years. It means a lot.
Way too long. Now we can bring it up.
Thanks, Jimmy.
great scene here in Kingston as the Gaels are golden once again. An unbelievable football game, and Jimmy Allen and the rest of those fifth-year seniors on Queens helped pull them through, but there is one fifth-year senior for the Western Mustangs. Back-to-back Yates Cup MVP on one leg. And there are rumors now that the season is over for Western, that knee was torn up. That there was a torn ligament in that knee, and Faulds had played through the pain for the last 4 weeks.
And never once did we ever hear any sort of complaining about it, use it as a crutch in any way. Comes into the football game basically on one leg and gives his team an opportunity to move the football. What more can you say?
Let's go back down to Glenn Sheeler standing by with Shamari Williams.
Shamari, what's going through your head right now?
Man, it was just a great victory, great team victory. We didn't play our best, but we played well enough to win, and that's what counts.
What about Danny's performance today?
Danny's a great competitor, great quarterback. He's the best in the league, and he stepped up for us and did it big for us.
How were you guys able to stop Nathan Riva in this high-potent Western offense? Because not many teams have been able to do that.
Man, come on, we're the best defense out here. We stop anybody. I said it. We stop anybody.
Thanks, Shamari. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Shamari Williams comes back from the University of Houston, where he played 3 years with the Cougars, and it all seems worthwhile right now as the Gaels can celebrate a Yates Cup victory at home. Danny Brannigan, 27 of 45, 501 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Michael Faulds, 24 of 37, 503 yards, and a touchdown on one leg.
That says it all.
I don't know how I hand it off to you after that, because these two quarterbacks put on a show, these two teams put on a show, and like I said earlier, I hope that you enjoyed the magnificence of this struggle, this game, Mike. A lot of people in this country don't give it enough credit, but in the CIS, you see great football, and you saw it here today.
No, you certainly did. Shamari Williams made the bold statement they have the best defense. They can stop anybody, and the way that he personally played tonight, he's got my vote. He played like a man on fire.
And Danny Brannigan, the other fifth-year senior, will enjoy the Engineers pounding this turf. They didn't get homecoming this year at Queens, but they're acting like it's homecoming here today. Jubilation here at Richardson Stadium for the home team. What an unbelievable game.
You really, when you look at the ebbs and flows and the way that the game went, I mean, literally with the lead changes, with the amount of yardage put up in the air, with the receivers on both sides of the ball making huge plays, and comes down to the guy who has an opportunity to do it in the end and just doesn't work out like planned.
The joy of victory and the agony of defeat, but there should be no agony for Mike Faulds. He played himself a whale of a game, and he's standing by with DJ Bennett. DJ?
Guys, one of the toughest things I've probably ever had to do. Mike Faulds, amazing performance, the best performance I've ever seen you have in win or defeat, over 500 yards. Just tell me your emotions right now that your career has come to an end.
Well, it's upsetting that the career is over, but I'm happy with the way our team battled. We knew it was going to be a battle down to the very end, and it was, and it's too bad how it ended, how I got injured. I was dying to get back out there, but I don't know. All the credit goes to Queens. They had a great team, and hopefully they can represent Ontario next week.
I know you're a student of the game. You watched all the great comebacks by QBs, and during your career, you've had some yourselves. Talking to you, all you wanted was the ball last. You knew you were going against a great QB. How frustrating was it for you when physically you knew you couldn't get out there and do what you wanted to do?
It was killing me. My knee's given out the last few games, and usually it happens earlier in the game that settles down and I get back in there, but fact it was at the last play of last drive of the game, time was our enemy, and I just couldn't get back in there.
Well, I'm pretty sure we haven't heard the last of Michael Faulds. I thought I knew a lot about you before, but I learned a lot about you in defeat. Champion at JF Ross, champion at SAC, still a champion at Western, champion performance. I appreciate it. All the best, man.
For the uninitiated, DJ played with Michael Faulds at St. Andrews College, won a Metro Bowl title with him in the Toronto area. Those two go way back. And like DJ said, an incredible performance. The Queens Golden Gaels will be presented the 102nd Yates Cup when we return to Richardson Stadium.
University Rush on the Score is brought to you by Pioneer. Earn bonus bucks at Pioneer Petroleums to spend on fuel, snacks, and more. By Pizza Pizza, the official pizza of the OUA. Order your favorite pizza before, during, or after the game. Pizza Pizza, always hot, always fresh. And by Wilson, makers of the Wilson F2001 football, the official football of the OUA.
Sports broadcasters often throw around the term instant classic way too easily. But here, the oldest trophy in football was awarded in an instant classic. The Queens Gaels are victorious at home, beating the Western Mustangs 43-39. I don't think we will ever see the nation's top two passers all time meet each other ever again. Danny Brannigan victorious, and the Gaels are golden as we send it to Glenn Sheeler. Glenn?
All right, thanks, Tim. Queens fans, I know you've waited a long time, but before we get to the Yates Cup presentation, how about a hand? I know it's a rivalry, but for Western and both teams, what a great game. 7 lead changes today. Went down to the wire, couldn't have asked for a better game. The Adult White Trophy presentation is next. That is the MVP of the Yates Cup and the 102nd version of that trophy. It's being presented by the OUA Executive Director of Fort Hills. And who else but Danny Brannigan, who threw for 500 yards, 501 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Danny, describe this moment.
It's great. I'd like to thank all the fans for coming out. They're huge today. Thanks, guys.
How huge was this for this program, for this community? It's been 31 years, and you guys have some great football teams, and now you've gotten it done.
Yeah, definitely. This is very exciting for us, and it was a real good game today. The team played very well. Very proud of everyone out here today.
I heard the MVP chants out here. Earlier this week, it was Michael Faulds who got the MVP. Did you prove them wrong today that you should have been the MVP?
Not up to me. It doesn't matter.
Classy Danny Brannigan. We're going to move on to the moment we're all here for, the presentation of the 102nd Yates Cup. And for that, I'd like to call on the president of the OUA, Dr. Lauren Adams, and representing Pioneer Petroleum's Rick Bairstow. Are you guys ready? It's been 31 years, but now it's yours, Queens. The Yates Cup. The 2009 champion, Queens Gaels. Coach Pat Shane, I can't help but notice you just taking this all in right now. Just describe your feeling.
I would first of all like to say how proud I am of all the Queen's students who showed up today. You were definitely the 13th man. I would also like to thank the members of the Kingston community who came today. I know we kept you waiting a few years, but all I can say is we're number one today.
Coach, you come into this game, had such a great season, and you had to close it out, and you did. What does this moment mean right now to you?
Well, this is really the completion of a long run. Last year was a big disappointment after a great year. This is the way you should finish years like that, and that's the way we're doing it.
And we're not stopping here. You've got some football to play yet. Laval is in town. The defending Vanier Cup champions are here next week. What do you make of that?
They'll be good. They'll be good, but so will we. We'll be here waiting for them.
Coach, I think it's time you touch the Yates Cup. Jimmy, I think... Congratulations once again to the 2009 Yates Cup champion, the Queens Gaels.
The Queens Golden Gaels, victorious 43-39 the final. Look at those numbers, Mike.
So you look at the total yards right off the bat. 610 yards for Western on a losing cause, and just under 580 for Queens, and just a fantastic day of football on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, and Queens came up top, and they're well deserving of it.
Is there anything left to say? I mean, what we said off the top, there's no way to do justice to this game. We will probably never ever see the top two passers in the history of the CIS go toe-to-toe, and to see them go toe-to-toe the way they did is unbelievable.
I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to stand beside you and call this game today along with everyone else, and what a great show we had.
The 102nd Yates Cup is awarded to the Queens Golden Gaels, concluding our 8th season of CIS and OUA football coverage on the Score. I know I speak for everyone at our station when I say we are proud to truly support university athletics on the Score. There are so many people to thank: our producers Chad Walker and John Coleman, our director Paul Griss, Mike Morielli, DJ Bennett for all his hard work throughout the year, Glenn Sheeler, Laura Dyken, Sheldon Alexander, James Ladd, Mike Pilon, Peter Budziak, our entire crew as we pass the torch to TSN for the national semifinals. We do so with pride. An unbelievable finale to an unbelievable season as the Gaels are golden once more.